This chat group administrator really takes things seriously. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 326, Decayed Body and Soul. There was a loud bang. The door that broke into flew directly into the insect nest. How disgusting, Xiao Yan said as he walked on the dark and damp steps. Matao Kiriyaya followed silently behind, carefully observing the surroundings. Matao Zalkan would definitely come out after making such a big fuss in the Matao family. Your Excellency, are you going too far? Countless insects in the insect nest flew around and finally merged into flesh and blood, which squirmed into a human form. A dry and ugly old man appeared in front of Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan's red eyes just glanced at the old man and turned his head away. The rotten soul and body were simply ugly. Countless dirty evils were entangled in the soul and body. This was even more disgusting than the stones in the pit. For the first time, Xiao Yan felt that his eyes, that could see through everything, had a headache. The evil thoughts emitted by Matao Zalkan's rotten soul really made people want to vomit. Can you die and don't appear in front of me? It's too dirty. I want to vomit when I see it, Xiao Yan said with disgust. Matao Zalkan wanted to say something, but suddenly a feeling of extreme danger descended. Sir, do you think that my Matao family is easy to bully? Matao Zalkan stomped the cane in his hand, and countless insects flew out in an instant. Sakura in the insect pile turned her head slightly, revealing a broken expression. I still hate you. Red flames appeared in the insect nest at some point. The red lotus fire from hell slowly began to bloom. This is a flame that uses evil thoughts as a burning material. It can burn the soul and burn all evil karma into nothingness. The flowers blooming in hell, all sins will be burned into nothingness by it. Flames bloomed in the insect nest, and countless insects were stained with the red lotus fire like maggots on the tarsal bones. Crackling sounds were heard. The red lotus fire turned the dirty bodies and souls of the insects into ashes. Matao Zalkan was stunned by the flames that suddenly appeared on the surface of his body, followed by a crazy howl. He felt that his soul was being devoured by these flames. The pain of the soul being burned and devoured by the red lotus fire is 100 times more than the extreme pain of the body. Matao Zalkan, what on earth did you do? Xiao Yan didn't bother to pay attention to this thing that was more disgusting than smelly dog shit. Matao Zalkan has many ways to save his life, but once he is touched by the fire from hell, he will die. Because these flames will not go out, they will continue to burn in the soul. Burn everything in the soul until the soul turns into ashes. Matao Sakura looked at the beautiful flowers blooming beside her. The dirty insect nest is the most fertile nutrient for these red lotuses. Matao Sakura stretched out her fingers and touched the extremely charming red lotus next to her, and her heart was slightly fluctuated. It's beautiful, isn't it? The flames also burned on Matao Sakura's body, burning the insects in her body, but did not cause any harm to her. Xiao Yan squatted beside Matao Sakura and then gently picked a beautiful red lotus. Every petal of the red lotus was burning with flames, but it was so beautiful that people couldn't help but want to get close to it. Damn you, I'm going to kill you. Matao Zalkan's voice came from Matao Sakura's body. Then he was burned by the red lotus fire. The former righteous partner let him disappear. Matao Sakura slowly sat up from the floor, and the squirming insect nests around her turned into a beautiful sea of flowers. The red lotuses were densely packed in the entire insect nest. Matao Sakura looked at her chest. Are you here to save me? Xiao Yan nodded. You can think of it this way. You killed Grandpa. Matao Sakura continued to speak, her empty eyes completely unable to express her feelings at the moment. He's dead. You should have heard his last howl or wail. The beautiful red lotus will use his soul as nourishment and eventually burn everything. Xiao Yan stroked the beautiful sea of flowers around him. In less than a moment, all the insects were dead. Sakura, Sakura. Matao Yan walked through the sea of red lotus flowers. The red flames stained his body, and he stumbled towards Matao Sakura. Then he hugged her. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Countless tears welled up from the only eye left in Matao Kiriyaya. If this was a dream, Matao Kiriyaya hoped that he would never wake up. The red lotus fire was burning the bugs in Matao Kiriya's body. Matao Sakura gradually accepted everything. Accepted that she was saved. Accepted that the terrible grandfather was dead. Woo woo woo. Matao Sakura cried, but her eyes were still extremely empty. After all, this girl had collapsed a year ago. Everything is Shichin's fault. Matao Kiriya hugged Matao Sakura and said angrily. Jiangnan was slightly stunned, and then smiled. Yes, everything is Shichin's fault. Matao family, Matao Kiriya said very respectfully. Mr. Jiangnan, from now on my life is yours. My wish to participate in this Holy Grail war has come true. I will fight for you, even at the cost of my life. Matao Kiriya bowed 90 degrees directly. The reason he participated in the Holy Grail war was because of Matao Sakura. Now that Matao Sakura has been rescued, although she is still a little indifferent, Matao Kiriya is already very satisfied. You must be in pain for Shichin. Jiangnan said lightly. Matao Kiriya was furious when he heard Shichin's name. The damn man. Jiangnan picked up the black tea on the table. Have you ever thought about the future? Matao Kiriya was slightly stunned. Please tell me clearly, sir. Jiangnan glanced at Matao Sakura, who was sitting on the sofa next to him, wearing a white dress and motionless like a puppet. Now Sakura still needs someone to take care of her. If you die, Sakura will definitely return to Shichin again. Do you think Sakura will be happy in the future? Matao Kiriya felt sick when he thought of Shichin's pretentious appearance. Now he was burned by the red lotus karma fire, and the worms in his body had transformed his body. Without the worms, he should have died. But a red lotus was burning in his chest, providing him with life and magic power, so that he can live and continue to be the master to participate in this Holy Grail war. I will never let Sakura go back. Jiangnan chuckled, and said in a voice full of temptation. Matao Kiriya. Weakness is the original sin. You are just an ordinary person, after giving up magic. Why are you so miserable? It's because you are weak. Because you are weak, others can bully you. Because you are weak, you can't protect the people you want to protect. Chapter 327, Young to Sakura. Matao Kiriya clenched his fists when he heard what Jiangnan said. If he had the strength to kill Matao Zalkan, he would not have to compromise and could just kill Matao Zalkan directly. But he didn't have it. Weakness is the original sin. Matao Kiriya also knew that he couldn't protect Sakura without strength. If Shichin knew that Matao Zalkan was dead, he would probably take back Matao Sakura, who had special talents. Please let me become stronger. Matao Kiriya suddenly knelt on the ground. He felt that the man in front of him was very mysterious. Even the old bug Matao Zalkan, who made him so afraid, was killed just by saying so. Such a mysterious and powerful existence must make him stronger. Boy, I think you and I are destined to be together. I have a martial arts secret book here. Do you want it? Jiangnan took out a book. There were 4 big characters written on the book. Jade Girl Heart Sutra. Although Matao Kiriya didn't know Chinese, Japanese and Chinese still have many similarities. So Matao Kiriya still knew 2 words in this secret book. Jade Girl. Jiangnan looked at the secret book in his hand. Sorry, I got the wrong one. Jiangnan once again took out a book from the void. He looked at the title. Sun breathing. This is it. This thing is much more useful than that magic. It takes 3 days to get started, and 7 days to be on the job. Once you learn it, it's no problem to kill a few fragile magicians. Jiangnan handed the secret book in his hand to Giant Tongyanyi. Giant Tongyanyi took the secret book with trembling hands with excitement. It is better to teach a man how to fish than to give him a fish. Jiangnan is just a passerby in this world after all. He can't stay in this world forever and take care of these 2 miserable people. It's better to teach them how to protect themselves. Let them live in this cruel world. In Jiangnan's endless life, too many things will always be forgotten, so try not to leave regrets when doing things. Giant Tongyanyi flipped the sun breathing in his hand. This is a martial art. The breathing method combined with the sword form can easily break through the upper limit of the human body and show a combat power that is not inferior to that of a magician. But practicing breathing and swordsmanship requires hard work. Matao Kiriya is not afraid of hardship. As long as he can become stronger and protect Sakura, he is willing to do anything. I will live here for 7 days. I will leave after the Holy Grail War is over. I will guide you in your practice during the 7 days. Matao Kirihaya was instantly excited when he heard Jiangnan say this. There are two different situations, having a teacher to guide you and not having a teacher to guide you. Matao Kirihaya, thank you so much, Mr. Jiangnan. In the park of Fuaoki City, Zhao Hei and Elia met an old friend, Rin Tosaka. But now Rin Tosaka is only 7 years old, younger than them. Elia looked at the cute little Rin Tosaka with twin ponytails, and she felt bad. It turns out that Sister Rin was so cute when she was young. Elia rubbed Rin Tosaka's cute little face. Zhao Hei was touching Rin Tosaka's twin ponytails beside her. Don't do this. Rin Tosaka shook her head and shook off the two dishonest hands. On a chair not far away, Rin's mother, Aoi, smiled as she watched the two people who were having fun with her child. She didn't know the identities of the two people. She just thought they were ordinary children in the park. Friendship between children is sometimes very simple. They just played together. Elia seemed to have thought of something and spoke. Can you call me sister? Rin tilted her head and looked at Elia, who was half a head taller than her, and then spoke softly. Sister? Oh. Elia was immediately excited after being called sister by Rin. Zhao Hei was speechless watching from the side. Elia really likes to be a sister. Rin was a little confused. At this time, she was still too innocent, not the devil muscle Rin in the future. Elia happily hugged Rin. Call me sister again. Sister, sister. Rin called sister twice very honestly. Oh. Elia wanted to take off happily. And the ruby hiding in Elia's hair thought in her heart. I didn't expect Rin to be so cute when she was little. If it was Rin now, I would definitely choose her to be a magical girl without hesitation. But cute Lolly will grow up after all. Ruby thought of the violent girl in the future, who was just like an old lady in menopause. Ruby would only choose innocent and cute children to be magical girls. The park was still quite lively at this time, and many ordinary families were playing here. Some young couples were also dating here. Elia, it's time for Zhao Hei to go home. Jiangnan walked over from a distance with a gentle smile on his face. Elia, who was playing with Rin Tosaka, was stunned. Brother Jiangnan. Elia turned around and saw Jiangnan coming over. Rin Tosaka was a little embarrassed when she saw the handsome boy gradually coming over. Brother Jiangnan, look, what have we found? Elia excitedly pulled Rin Tosaka and said. Jiangnan still smiled. Well, I saw it. It's very different from the future. At least it's cute now. Rin Tosaka was a little confused. The future? Okay, no more talking. It's time to go back. Jiangnan waved his hand to indicate that it was time to go. Although Elia and Zhao Hei still wanted to play with the young Rin Tosaka for a while, they knew that business was more important, so they trotted over and grabbed Jiangnan. Jiangnan looked at Aoi Tosaka who was sitting next to him. Sorry, my two sisters have caused you trouble. No trouble, they are such a cute pair of twins. Aoi Tosaka spoke very gently, in line with the traditional Japanese Yamato Nadeshiko. Goodbye, Rin. Before Elia left, she waved and said goodbye to Rin Tosaka. Goodbye, Elia. Rin Tosaka also waved, and the two could be considered friends. The friendship between children is very pure and simple. Walking in the bustling streets, Zhao Hei said, where are we going next? Of course we are going to eat. After all, I can't think of losing this Holy Grail war, so relax a little. Jiangnan said with a smile, and not far away, Matao Kirihaya was pulling Matao Sakura to go shopping. This little girl with a broken personality now needs to be corrected slowly. Matao Kirihaya was doing these things very patiently. Here, Jiangnan waved. When Matao Kirihaya saw Jiangnan, he pulled Zhao over. Then he noticed two identical cute girls holding Jiangnan's hands. Mr. Jiangnan, who are these two? My two sisters. Matao Kirihaya seemed to be hesitant to speak. In his eyes, the Holy Grail War was very cruel. Would it be inconvenient to bring two little girls? Chapter 328. First Encounter. Zhao Hei and Elia looked at Sakura, who was sitting next to them and eating obediently, curiously. Then they went straight over. Matao Kirihaya also hoped that Sakura could make more friends. Sakura looked at the two people who surrounded her and felt a little overwhelmed. Now she has forgotten how to be a normal girl. Jiangnan looked at the overwhelmed Sakura and sighed. Although I, Kiriya, have cured Sakura's body, the damage to her heart is still difficult to heal after all. Thank you for your trouble. Matao Kiriya nodded. I will never let Sakura get hurt again. Soon the waiter came over with several large bowls of ramen. Guests, please enjoy the ramen you ordered. Everyone looked at the steaming ramen on the table and put their hands together. I'm starting. Then they picked up their chopsticks and began to enjoy the food. At this moment, Jiangnan unexpectedly saw two people. When the gears of fate turn, there will always be gravity, and the stand users will always attract each other. Jiangnan's mouth curled up with a pleasant smile. Matao Kiriya was slightly stunned, then he also sensed something and spoke. Heroic spirit? Jiangnan did not expect to meet them here. Sure enough, the story was very dramatic. When the door of the hotel opened, Irisville, wearing a white cotton coat and a white velvet hat, came here. With white hair and red eyes, she is the holy grail of this year. When she stepped into this city, it meant that her life was about to end. Saber, here you are. Irisville made an excited sound that only children can have. It was a child's curiosity about all unknown things, just like a princess longing for the outside world. Even though Irisville was already a wife, she still couldn't stop her youthful and beautiful appearance and beautiful figure, or it was better this way. Kaoze would shout when he saw her, I have the appearance of a hero. Irisville came here naturally to help Imiyaka Itsugu win the Holy Grail War, and she was also prepared to sacrifice herself. Saber, there are so many people here. I want to eat too. Jiangnan smiled at the lively and cheerful lady. It's really interesting. Saber in a suit was guarding Irisville like a knight. Or she was the knight, Altria, the Night King, King Arthur, and the King of Saber. Saber noticed Jiangnan the moment she entered the door. Jiangnan looked at the two people with a smile without any intention of hiding. Alice, be careful. Saber stood in front of Irisville to block her. The sharp eyes were like a general about to step onto the battlefield. Even wearing a suit could not hide Saber's powerful aura. Irisville looked at Jiangnan who was looking at her curiously. Is it an enemy, Saber? No hostility, but I feel the aura of a heroic spirit. The other party is the master. Just when the atmosphere was tense, Zhao Hei and Ala, who were sitting in the corner, had shining eyes. This was their mother in the parallel world. She still felt very gentle to them, but she was more lively and simple than usual. Brother Jiangnan, is this your mother? Of course, I'll ask you to come over and sit down. Jiangnan stood up and invited Irisville and Saber. Hey, two beauties, come over for dinner. Let's get to know each other. The frivolous tone made everyone slightly stunned. How come this way of chatting up is the same as that of a gangster? Irisville has never left the castle of Innsbruck. So she is very simple, even too simple. Saber, is that kid chatting up us? I've only seen her on TV. Saber looked at Irisville, who was so excited that she even wanted to come forward and felt a little helpless. Isn't this lady too simple? The other party is an enemy. As King Arthur, Saber actually doesn't like others to care too much about her female identity. Matao Kiriya felt that the power in his body was rioting, and his heroic spirit Lancelot wanted to kill Saber in front of him. Matao Kiriya didn't want to start a war at this time, so he suppressed his heroic spirit. Jiangnan ignored the vigilant Saber. Hey, two beauties, don't be so cold. If you talk more, you will find that I'm not a bad person, but of course I may not be a good person either. Irisville had never seen such an alternative and interesting guy. Saber, let's go over and take a look. Saber was still a little worried. Irisville continued to speak. Aren't you here, Saber? As a qualified knight, Saber would protect the princess. And the enemy was indeed not hostile. According to the rules of the Holy Grail War, a war cannot be started in a crowded place. There are many people eating here, which is obviously not the place to start a war. Irisville came to Toki City today and was originally going to find Imiyaka Itsugu directly, but she had never left her castle and was very curious about everything outside. So she wanted to play for a day first and try not to leave any regrets in the last few days of her life. Saber also agreed with this decision. And this was also part of Imiyaka Itsugu's plan. Let Iris Veal and Saber go out and hang out to attract other masters and servants to attack. He will then do the trick from behind. Adults, times have changed. Aren't sniper rifles better than magic? Bombs are more powerful than magic. Iris Veal and Saber walked over slowly. Jiangnan and Matao Kiria did not hide the spells in their hands. Two masters. Iris Veal was a little surprised, and then she saw something even more surprising. Elia and Xiao showed beautiful smiles like flowers on their faces. Mom, long time no see. Iris Veal was stunned when she heard the familiar name and looked at the familiar face. How could Elia appear here when she was still in the castle of Eansburn, and she seemed to have grown up a lot? Madam, don't be stunned, sit down. Since you are enjoying life, put everything aside for the time being and enjoy it well. Jiangnan stretched out his hand and motioned for the two to sit down. Waiter, add 2 more bowls of ramen. Jiangnan turned his head and said to the waiter who was busy beside him. Okay, sir. The waiter nodded and turned to the back kitchen. Although they are not in the same world, the connection between blood is not wrong. To Elias, Iris Veal was a little confused about the current situation. It's a heroic spirit. Jiangnan raised the spell in his hand, and Xiao also exuded the aura of a heroic spirit. At this moment, Iris Veal was in a complicated mood. Xiao said with a smile. Don't worry, mother, brother Jiangnan is a very good person. Yes, brother Jiangnan is a good person. Elia also said. Saber had also seen Elia, but the Elia at this time was obviously not the same Elia in the castle. Chapter 329, Having Fun. Soon, 2 large bowls of ramen were served. It's a complicated situation to explain. Let's eat noodles first. There's a long way to go. Xiao and Elia ran to their mother's side. Iris Veal looked at the 2 Elias, who were a little different except for their skin, and was a little overwhelmed. But soon she exuded her maternal instinct. Because no matter what they become, they are all Iris Veal's children. Elia hasn't seen her mother for a long time. Saber also temporarily let down her guard. Soon a large bowl of ramen was eaten by Saber. Saber rubbed her stomach and was only half full. Waiter, another large bowl of ramen. Jiangnan continued to speak. Saber glanced at Jiangnan and was actually a little embarrassed for a moment. Don't be too restrained, Saber. The king must fill his stomach before going to war, right? Hearing Jiangnan say this, Saber nodded. She agreed with this statement very much. Only by eating more can you win the battle. Only those who have a king's stomach can become a king. Suddenly Saber seemed to realize something. What did you just say? Jiangnan put on a fox-like smile on his face. I said that the king must fill his stomach before going to war. Saber's real identity is King Arthur, but she has never revealed her true identity, and revealing her identity in the Holy Grail War will easily be targeted by the enemy. Saber felt that she was seen through for a moment. Iris Veal was also a little surprised. Elia and Xiao were leaning in her arms at this time, with coquettish smiles on their faces. The little girl likes to act coquettishly in her mother's arms the most. You know my true identity. Altria, Pendragon, the Night King, King Arthur, the king of the kingdom of ancient Britain. Jiangnan revealed Saber's true identity. Saber frowned, and Jiangnan gave him a very dangerous feeling. How do you know? Saber continued to ask. Because I saw the future. Jiangnan would not say that he had seen Fate/Zero and knew everything about this Holy Grail War. Iris Veal and Saber felt a chill instantly. If he knew the future, it would mean that he knew the outcome of the Holy Grail War and the information of all the people who participated in the Holy Grail War. This is really a cheat. Saber clenched her fists, her eyes full of disbelief. She didn't believe that anyone could know the future. Are you sure? Jiangnan said with a smile. Saber, you participated in the Holy Grail War because of your wish to go back to the past, change your fate, and save your kingdom, Great Britain. But in my opinion, this wish is too naive, because as a king, you deny everything about yourself, which is a bit ridiculous. Saber stood up immediately after hearing Jiangnan say this, her eyes full of anger. Because her wish was denied, it also made her sure that Jiangnan did know the future. Iris Veal looked at Saber with some concern. Are you okay, Saber? Saber said to Jiangnan angrily. What do you know? I'm the king. I should save. Jiangnan knocked on the table lightly. Saber, is your idea too selfish or too wishful? Have you ever understood the thoughts of your people? Are they willing to be saved by you? And if they changed in the past, they will change now. Jiangnan motioned Saber to look at everything around him. England is a more prosperous world than here. Queen Elizabeth there is a wise king. Do you want to change this peaceful world because of your wishes? Drag countless innocent people into the war. Saber was silent for a moment because he couldn't find a suitable reason to refute Jiangnan. Okay, we are here to eat, not to reason. At this time, the waiter came up with a bowl of ramen and placed it in front of Saber. Saber will not go against delicious food. Eating, please wait. Soon the meal was finished and only a few empty bowls were left on the table. It's almost time to eat. You can go to fight. Jiangnan said lightly. In just a moment, Irisville felt something was wrong. What are you going to do? Jiangnan took a toothpick and started to pick his teeth. Please, ma'am, what is our relationship? We are enemies in the Holy Grail War. Although I know that I will definitely win the war as a person who likes to cheat in the future, but enemies have to fight each other when they meet. And I believe Saber will not refuse. Jiangnan spoke with great confidence. It was as if I was the best in the world and no one could beat me. Saber never refused any challenge. As the Night King, she would never be afraid of any fight. In that case, I will accept your challenge. Jiangnan lay down on the chair in the way of Jinyu. Don't get excited, digest it first. If you do strenuous exercise right after eating, you will have a stomach ache. And I have some information to tell you. Irisville was stunned. What information? Of course it's the information of the heroic spirit who fought with Saber. Saber also knows that heroic spirit. He is one of Saber's Knights of the Round Table. Matao Kirihara looked at Jiangnan who carelessly leaked the information of the heroic spirit to the enemy. He was a little confused about what this operation was. Saber's pupils shrank instantly when he heard Jiangnan's words. The Knights of the Round Table is a group of knights led by King Arthur, the Lord of Camelot in the ancient British legend. But in the end, Mordred, a Knight of the Round Table, overturned the rule of her father, King Arthur. The Knights of the Round Table also died or were injured. Saber spoke unconsciously when she thought of the final ending of Great Britain. Excuse me, which knight is it? Jiangnan threw the toothpick in his hand into the trash can. The yellow-haired man met the victim, the indestructible Lake Light, Lancelot. The first generation of Knights of the Round Table, the Knight of the Lake, Lancelot. Lancelot is one of the Knights of the Round Table and a hero praised as the greatest knight. Although he served King Arthur, he parted ways with the king because he fell in love with Guinevere. He loves justice, respects women, hates evil, is honest and romantic, and is evaluated by King Arthur as an ideal knight. Sir Lancelot, does he hate me? Saber said with a very complicated look. Who knows? But he definitely wants to kill you right now. His master can't control him anymore. Fate has made you two participate in this war at the same time, so let's fight. Saber, you have no reason to refuse this battle. Saber looked at Irisville, who was a little worried, and said, don't worry, I will bring victory to the master. Even if Saber's wish was denied, she would not give up. She wanted to be the winner of this Holy Grail War. She wanted to change history and deny everything she had done. Chapter 330, Knight's Duel. Irisville was driving a black car on the road. Elia and Ziohei were hiding behind and trembling. Matao Kirihara was holding Sakura and felt like he was going to die. Although he said he was going to fight in a place with few people, he always felt that he would have a car accident. Ha ha ha. Irisville laughed wildly with excitement, just like a crazy speed racing party. Even Saber, who was sitting in the passenger seat, had a headache. That's it. Irisville accelerated and turned a 90-degree right angle, and the whole car body was lifted up in an instant. A blade overtook. I'm going to die. Matao Kirihara felt like he was going to die, and even planned to summon the heroic spirit Lancelot at the critical moment of the car accident. This car is so fast and powerful. Irisville was so excited. Bang! The lifted car landed smoothly, making a loud noise. Saber looked at the car that landed smoothly, and said with a sigh of relief, your driving skills are better than I thought. Irisville had a big smile on her face. I like this the most among the toys Kiritsugu brought. Matao Kirihara felt cold when he heard this. Iris Veal stepped on the accelerator with her white boots. The car was still accelerating. The more they drove, the more scared they became. The female driver was still a speedster and had full buffs. But in the end, there were no accidents. They came to a remote place. This was an outdoor suburb, surrounded by various abandoned buildings and factories. There were also some old street lights around, so it wouldn't be too dark at night. Minato Namikaze couldn't help but vomit as soon as he got out of the car. Survived. Iris Veal was a little embarrassed to see this scene when she got out of the car. After Xiao Yan pulled a liar and Xiao Hedi out of the car, he looked at the surrounding scene and said, "Not bad, not bad. It's a good place to fight." Then Xiao Yan moved out a sofa and a table from his storage space. The table was full of snacks, as if he was going to watch a show. Iris Veal looked at this scene in amazement. How amazing. No big deal. Of course you have to be fully prepared to watch a show, and Saber's real master should be here too. Xiao Yan said with a smile, and then opened a bag of snacks on the table, which were puffed foods often sold on the street. Hey. Iris Veal was slightly stunned, and then she felt relieved when she thought that Xiao Yan could see the future. It would be difficult to win this war with you. Iris Veal did not think that Minato would lose, and the future was changeable. A butterfly flapping its wings once more could cause a storm. The butterfly effect is very scary. The future is changing all the time. Saber's magic power surged all over her body, and her suit instantly turned into armor. Then she glanced at Iris Veal, who was sitting on the sofa not far away and eating snacks. Concern flashed in Saber's eyes. Xiao Yan seemed to see through this, and waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, nothing will happen. I'm looking forward to this duel between knights." Minato Namikaze felt a little better after vomiting for a while. Then he summoned his heroic spirit Lancelet. The Lancelet summoned by Minato Namikaze was summoned as a berserker, a class that uses reason to exchange for combat power. When Lancelet appeared, everyone felt a chill. He was a warrior wearing black armor, with thick black mist emanating from his body. The black mist covered Lancelet's attributes, making it difficult for everyone to see his strength. Sir Lancelet. Saber looked at Lancelet, who had turned into a berserker, with mixed feelings. The once pure and proud knight had fallen to this point. Was it all because of her? Saber was so noble that she was even willing to sacrifice everything for her country. Even if the victim met the yellow-haired man, the victim Saber was still worried about the yellow-haired Lancelet. Arthur. Lancelet made a hoarse voice. Even if he turned into a berserker, he still remembered this name. That was the king he respected the most. Iris Veal asked with a very complicated expression. "Can you see the future of this battle?" "Yes, but it's not necessary. When watching a movie, I hate spoilers in advance. If someone comes up in a suspense theater and points out someone as the murderer, they may be beaten to death instantly." Xiao Yan is a pure fun person. In his eyes, the duel between Saber and Lancelet is just an interesting movie, so he will not do such a thing as seeing the future. Iris Veal gritted her teeth and asked a question hidden in her heart. Although she didn't think Xiao Yan would answer this question. Who will be the winner of this Holy Grail war in the future? Iris Veal wanted to know what the ending of Minato was. Did he realize his wish? On the other hand, Minato knew that Xiao Yan could know the future by installing a bug on Iris Veal. In his heart, this 18-year-old boy was already on the must-kill list. Hiding in the dark, he had already aimed a sniper rifle at Xiao Yan, ready to shoot at any time. However, Iris Veal's question stopped him from doing this, because he also wanted to know what the future of this Holy Grail war would be. Xiao Yan showed a strange smile. If I hadn't intervened, the result of this Holy Grail war would be no winner, but I think what Madam wants to know more is the ending of Minato. Xiao Yan instantly pointed out the true thoughts in Iris Veal's heart. Xiao Yan continued to speak. Minato, the end of the Justice Partner. In this Holy Grail war, Minato almost killed millions of ordinary civilians in Fuuki City and opened Pandora's box for this world. In the final ending, Minato used the spell to control Saber and then chopped the Holy Grail. He did not notice the hole in the sky, so the evil of this world in the Holy Grail leaked out from the hole, and the entire Fuuki City instantly turned into a sea of fire. He said this to Iris Veal to Imiyaka Itsugu who was eavesdropping from behind, and to the people hiding around. I wonder if Madam is satisfied with this ending? Iris Veal opened her mouth, not knowing what to say. Do you believe it or not? Jiangnan continued to speak. Kill one person and save 10. I don't deny the justice of this idea, but Imiyaka Itsugu is a human being. He is not a god, a machine, or a savior. Even his own strength can be said to be pitifully weak in the power system of this world. He does not have the power to change the world, but he has an idea to change the world. He even places this sad wish on the Holy Grail. So, idealism kills people. Reality is very cruel. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 331, Partner of Justice. Jiangnan smiled, as if he saw something very pleasant. Iris Veal recalled Imiyaka Itsugu's wish. Is Kiritsugu's wish impossible to realize? Yes. Just squeeze the whole world into juice. Have you heard of the human completion plan? It was Imiyaka Itsugu who refused it, and then strangled you to death with his own hands and shot a liar. Jiangnan said lightly. What he said was the truth, but the Iris Veal and Allah that Imiyaka Itsugu saw were disguised by the Holy Grail, and the disguise was very good. When Imiyaka Itsugu killed them, his whole body was about to break apart. He has emotions. He can cry, laugh, feel sad, and collapse at the same time. When he killed his teacher who was like a mother to him in a mission, he collapsed and went crazy, but his childhood experience made him unable to stop. In the end, he placed all his hopes on the Holy Grail. But in the end, he killed millions of people in Fuuki. He also raised his adopted son into a righteous partner, causing Imiyashirao to want to go back to the past and kill himself after becoming a heroic spirit. The end of the justice partner is very sad. On the other side, the battle has already begun. Arthur. Lancelot can only say these two words after losing his mind. Because this is his obsession. He betrayed his king. He wants his king to kill him. He wants to atone for his sins. Arthur. Lancelot roared, picked up a brick from the ground and rushed over. Jiangnan was slightly stunned, then nodded. The physical artifact brick is easy to carry, not a controlled knife, and has edges and corners that increase critical strikes. It is a proper fighting artifact. The knight with the treasure Lancelot possesses will not die empty-handed. It can give the weapon in his hand the attributes of the treasure, and can drive it. The limit of Lancelot's use of the treasure is to be able to recognize and judge it as a weapon. Saber has already revealed the silver armor on his body at this time, and the sword of oath and victory has been wrapped in the Wind King's barrier and turned into an invisible sword. Lancelot threw the brick that has become a treasure over without hesitation. Jiangnan smiled happily when he saw this scene. The artifact brick can be used for close range and long range attacks, and is a super weapon for killing and robbing. The brick, which has become a treasure, rushed towards Saber like a cannonball under Lancelot's powerful throwing. Saber swung her sword and cut the brick in half in an instant, but the powerful force also made her step back 2 steps. Sir Lancelot. Then several more bricks were thrown over, all of which were strengthened. Throwing stones is a trick used by children, but it often plays a crucial role in street fights. Because street fights have no rules, the only condition for victory is to beat the opponent to death. Lancelot has already abandoned the dignity of being a knight at this time. A knight would never use this kind of fighting method. Lancelot roared and grabbed the electric pole next to him, and then countless black lines appeared on the electric pole, and the electric pole became his treasure. Saber saw this scene, and was ready for battle. Lancelot's knight does not die with bare hands, which allows him to turn all the surrounding materials into his own weapons. In addition, even if he loses his mind, he still has superb fighting skills, which makes even Saber feel very stressed. Lancelot smashed Saber crazily with a telephone pole in his hand. Saber swung her sword and slashed. The power of a heroic spirit is simply beyond human imagination. Saber and Lancelot kept attacking, and the weapons in their hands were as fast as phantoms. That was not the attack speed that human eyes could capture. The people watching the battle from a distance could only hear the continuous bombardment and feel the shock waves generated by the collision of weapons. Invisible airwaves kept echoing around. Lancelot's fighting skills have long formed muscle memory. Even if he has no reason, he is still very strong. Lancelot's sweeping power is so great that Saber can only block with his sword. A violent bombardment sounded. Saber flew backwards more than 10 meters. After landing, he slid on the ground for a distance before stabilizing his body. The battle between the two knights with superb martial arts is still very pleasing to the eye. Lancelot didn't intend to stop there. He rushed towards Saber like a mad dog. The electric pole in his hand was thrown out directly by him. He used the electric pole as a javelin. Saber looked at the electric pole shooting towards her at a very fast speed and immediately deployed the Wind King barrier. The violent wind instantly knocked the electric pole away. Lancelot raised his fist high and hit directly. Saber immediately blocked with his sword and then lightly lifted it. Lancelot's hand was instantly lifted away. At this moment, his chest had no protection. Saber stabbed forward with the sword in his hand, and the invisible sword hit Lancelot's armor. Dang. A crisp sound rang out, and Saber's sword did not penetrate Lancelot's armor. The cut was shallow. Saber changed the direction of the slash, and she raised the sword in her hand high. This top-down slash was very powerful. If this move really hit Lancelot would definitely be seriously injured. However, when the sword fell, Lancelot directly put his hands together and caught the blade with his bare hands. Oh my god, what a great skill. Could it be that Lancelot got the true teachings from Master Li Jing? Jiang Nan complained at the critical moment. The sword in Saber's hand was wrapped by the Wind King's barrier, so people couldn't see the length of the sword at all. This kind of sword is also called an invisible sword. Being able to catch this sword without seeing it can only mean that, even if Lancelot lost his mind, he still understood his most respected king very well. To love a person is to love everything about that person. Lancelot did it, but he accidentally cheated on him. Saber immediately drew his sword and stepped back. Sir Lancelot, even if it becomes like this, your martial arts still have not regressed at all. However, what responded to her was Lancelot's angry roar. Arthur, the first confrontation was over. At this moment, it was time to be serious. The black mist on Lancelot's body gradually dissipated. Countless black mists condensed in his hands and became a black long sword. This is the knight's sword held by Lancelot, and it is also the most famous weapon, the indestructible Lake Light, Erudite, A++ grade treasure. Like the Sword of Promised Victory, it is a sword entrusted to humans by the Lake Elves. Because of the same origin, its toughness can match the Sword of Promised Victory. There are elven characters engraved on the blade. The characteristic of this sword is that it has a brilliance like the shining lake water under the moon, and the blade will never be destroyed. However, because Lancelot once killed the Knights of the Round Table with this sword, it lost its qualification as a holy sword, and was classified as a demon sword. Because of the story of defeating a dragon, this sword can add damage to the heroic spirit with dragon attribute. What a coincidence, Saber has the dragon attribute. Chapter 332, Mentality. Saber looked at the black sword in Lancelot's hand, feeling very complicated. Once the best partner, the most ideal knight, he had fallen to this point. Saber attributed all the mistakes to herself, because she did not save everything. She did not protect her people and partners. Lancelot grabbed the armor on his head with his other hand. Then he took it off, and finally revealed his hideous and angry appearance. The knight who was once proud, pure and handsome, was now ugly, like a vicious dog. Arthur. Lancelot rushed directly towards Saber with both hands holding the sword. Then he swung the sword horizontally, and the powerful force brought a sound of breaking through the air. When danger came, Saber also swung the sword in her hand. The swords from the same source collided with each other. Slash, collision. The two swords were swung by the two people as fast as after images. What a superb fighting martial arts. What a powerful fighting technique. Lancelot seemed to not know how to attack as crazy as defense, or to say that offense is the best defense. Saber saw Lancelot like a mad dog, and her mentality was a little problematic. His best friend had become like this. Was it all because of her? Jiang Nan felt that this scene was not fun. What he wanted to see was the two knights fighting with all their strength. Not one was like a mad dog, and the other thought it was his fault and didn't dare to use his strength. How did a good passionate battle plot become a bloody primetime drama plot? When Saber was knocked out by Lancelot, Jiangnan looked at Matao Kirihaya and prepared to let him use the spell. If Saber was like this, he might as well die. Saber who wants to save his friends and people. Let me see how strong your consciousness is. Can you kill your former partner with your own hands? Jiangnan thought in his heart. But the unexpected situation came at this moment. Thunder appeared in the clear sky. The roar of the bull echoed around. Here comes the troublemaker, Jiangnan said lightly, and then threw the melon seeds into his mouth. The melon seed shells had been spit out by him on the ground. Iris Veal looked at Saber with some worry. Meanwhile, Kiritsugu Miyaya, who was holding a sniper rifle at the commanding height, discovered an unexpected presence. Assassin Hassan of the 100 Faces. The assassin profession can conceal his own breath, and at this moment he was observing the battle. Kiritsugu Miyaya saw the assassin wearing a skull mask and a black robe through the scope. Kiritsugu Miyaya's lover and partner, Miyaya, was aiming at Jiangnan with a sniper rifle. As long as Kiritsugu Miyaya gave an order, she would pull the trigger without hesitation, even if it would hurt Kiritsugu Miyaya's wife. Powerful lightning landed in the center of the battlefield, preventing the two knights from continuing to fight. Ha ha ha. A heroic laugh came from the air. The person who came was the heroic spirit summoned in this Holy Grail war with the rank of rider, the king of Macedonia, the king of conquerors Alexander the Great, Iskander. He drove the flying hoof thunderbull and pulled the divine wheel, falling from the sky with the power of thunder. This is his treasure, a chariot that appeared in the famous scene of the Gordian, not in the legend of Alexander the Great. It is a sacrificial vessel used to worship the god Zeus. When it is used for a devastating attack, it will show its fully liberated form, using the hooves of the sacred bull and the wheels of the chariot to defeat the enemy, and it can also be used to travel in the air. In addition to direct attacks, when the hooves of the sacred bull step down, purple lightning will be generated, and when the wheels turn, thunder will sound, so it can launch a thunder-like attack, to expand the damage range several times. Both sides put away their weapons. Before the king, no unreasonable behavior is allowed. Jiangnan looked at the big man who suddenly joined the battlefield. Did you notice the rats hiding around? Jiangnan's voice was not loud, but anyone who wanted to hear it could hear it. The Conqueror King Rider looked at Jiangnan, who was lying on the sofa at this time, with his thighs crossed on his legs, and still shaking his legs. In his hand was a spicy strip that had just been opened. Ha ha ha, well said. Listen up, rats hiding in the dark. My name is Iskander, the king of conquerors. I'm born as a rider in this Holy Grail war. Waver Velvet, who was sitting on the godly wheel, was stunned. This was too straightforward. He chose to expose himself right away. Isn't this equivalent to showing his weakness directly? Ryder looked around with a smile. At this moment, he had prepared his own bold words. But Jiangnan didn't intend to listen. By the way, that guy. Can you get out of the way? You are blocking my view of the show. Although this show is not as good as I expected, it is still a show I'm looking forward to. Even if it is worse than the domestic bad dramas, I will still watch it. Jiangnan said angrily, interrupting Ryder's bold words that were about to come out. Ryder was stunned in an instant. He is the king of conquerors, with the charisma of a leader. Jiangnan seems to be the first person who dares to speak to him like this. He has a bit of a domineering taste. Who are you? You are also one of the masters participating in this Holy Grail war. Okay, get out of here. Jiangnan waved his hand impatiently. Ryder was not angry when he saw this scene, but laughed heartily, and then looked at everyone around him. Ha ha ha, interesting. I wonder if you are all willing to submit to me, become my subjects, and give me the Holy Grail? Jiangnan rubbed his head. Although he knew that there would be no show if this guy came, he didn't expect that this guy was really bold. What he said sounded like a provocation to others. Saber, as King Arthur, naturally could not submit to others. What Ryder said at this time was undoubtedly a provocation to her. Are you humiliating me? Ryder interrupted the duel between knights for this reason. Saber said coldly. Although her mentality was a little explosive, the duel between knights was fair and just, and even in this situation, Saber did not want others to interfere in this battle. Ryder scratched his head. Saber continued to speak. I'm also a king, the king of Great Britain. Even if you are an emperor, I will not be your vassal. Hahaha, I didn't expect you to be a king, but this is more interesting. Those mice hiding around should show up. Or do you just like hiding in the dark ditches, mice? Ryder laughed arrogantly. His voice was as loud as a roar, echoing around. After Jiangnan finished eating the spicy strips in his hand, he threw it into the garbage bag next to him. Ilya and Ziohei looked at Ryder curiously. This red-haired man who was nearly 2 meters tall was very strong. Ziohei felt a little eager to try. She wanted to fight. Chapter 333, Battle. Ryder's provocation hit someone without any surprise. The golden light on the street lamp gradually condensed. It was a man wearing golden armor, and the man had an extremely handsome appearance. The enthusiastic citizen Mr. Jin Shanshan appeared. Miscellaneous repairman. Then another person came out. His voice kept echoing around. Web of Velvet, it turns out to be you. I was wondering why you were crazy enough to steal my holy relic. Haha, it turns out that you want to participate in this holy grail war yourself. What do you want to prove to me? Web of Velvet was so scared when he heard this voice that he grabbed Ryder's red cloak tightly. The person who spoke was Web of Velvet's teacher Kenneth L. Meloy Archibald, one of the 12 monarchs of the Magic Association Clock Tower, the monarch of the Mineral Department, the El Meloy faction. The summoned heroic spirit was Lancer Diamudoduna. On the abandoned high-rise building, 2 figures stood proudly. It was Kenneth and his heroic spirit Lancer Diamudoduna. Wave of Velvet felt like he was caught doing something bad by his class teacher. Almost everyone who has been to school has felt this feeling. Ryder looked at the trembling Waver and suddenly raised his head and spoke to Kenneth. Hahaha, magician. The only one who can become my master is the one who goes to the battlefield with me, not a guy like you who likes to hide in the dark. Ryder was speaking for Waver. Waver looked at Ryder cautiously, and Ryder smiled at him. What a funny scene. A miscellaneous cultivator is a miscellaneous cultivator. Gilgamesh said with an arrogant smile on his face. He is the oldest king, the hero King Gilgamesh, who has the blood of God. His treasure, the treasure of the king, has all the treasures in the world, including the Holy Grail, that this war is fighting for. Ryder's position at this time is exactly in the center of the battlefield. He turned his head and saw the glittering Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh looked down at everyone present arrogantly. A bunch of rats who call themselves kings. 2 of them ran out in one day. Gilgamesh's tone was quite aggressive. Ryder was instantly unhappy. How can you talk like that? It's really annoying. And who are you? You should know that I, Iskander, am a well-known conqueror king. Gilgamesh spread his hands, smiled crookedly, and drew out an evil dragon king smile. Hahaha, he's just a mere cultivator. Mataukiriya stared at Gilgamesh because he was Toki's heroic spirit, and everything was Toki's fault because Toki Sakura suffered that treatment. Anger made Mataukiriya want to control Lancelot to kill Gilgamesh. As long as Gilgamesh was killed, Toki would have no chance of the Holy Grail. Mataukiriya wanted to go against him. At this time, Jiangnan stood up. It's so boring. Why don't we find a better place to eat? Kiriya, let's go. Jiangnan's eyes swept over all the people and heroic spirits present. Those eyes made everyone feel a palpitation. How to say it? It was as if the gods were watching the ants in the ant nest. When the ants fought, the gods thought it was very interesting and would stop to watch. When the ants did not fight, the gods thought it was boring, so they planned to leave. The era in which Gilgamesh existed was the era of the gods. He was very familiar with this look, so he was very unhappy. The street lamp under Gilgamesh's feet flickered a few times and then went out. Just a random cultivator. Behind Gilgamesh, countless golden ripples appeared. The king's treasure was opened. One weapon after another stretched out from the golden ripples. All of them were treasures. Ordinary heroes only have 1 or 2 treasures, but Gilgamesh has a warehouse of treasures. And he was very wasteful to shoot these treasures as arrows. Since ancient times, spearmen have mostly been and archers have mostly been hangers. Gilgamesh is undoubtedly the most powerful in this Holy Grail war. Jiangnan stopped. He didn't mind slapping Gilgamesh to death, as it would be more interesting. However, since they were participating in the Holy Grail War, they had to fight according to the rules of the Holy Grail War, a battle between heroic spirits. The second battle? I'll take it. I'll say this in advance. All irrelevant personnel should leave the scene immediately. If you are killed by the enemy, don't blame me for not reminding you. Jiangnan looked at Zhao Hei, don't forget the purpose of our participation in this Holy Grail War. Zhao Hei had a happy smile on his face. Of course. Zhao Hei wanted to survive, so she needed the Holy Grail to fulfill her wish. Moreover, she had the Emiya Heroic Spirit card and inherited all the combat skills of the Heroic Spirit Emiya. With Jiangnan's powerful magic supply, Zhao Hei could use his power at will. Emiya Kiritsugu looked at Zhao Hei, who came to the battlefield with a very complicated expression. He didn't expect Emiya to become a heroic spirit. The magic power condensed, and Zhao Hei's casual clothes instantly became a red magic outfit. Miscellaneous cultivator, do you look like a clown from a circus? Countless sword blades were pointed at Zhao Hei, but there was no fear in Zhao Hei's eyes. Instead, he wanted to try. Iris Veal looked at Zhao Hei with some worry. No matter what, Zhao Hei was her child. Go to hell. As soon as Gilgamesh finished speaking, dozens of treasures shot at Zhao Hei. Zhao Hei gathered magic power in his hands and began to project, pseudo-shooting 100 heads. This was a 2-meter long giant sword. Zhao Hei hid behind it with the giant sword in his hand. Dozens of treasures collided with the big sword that shot the 100 heads, making a roar of explosion. Smoke and dust filled the air, and the explosion raised a lot of smoke and dust. Is this all the power? Zhao Hei's voice sounded slowly. Release the treasure. Shoot the 100 heads. The terrifying magic power instantly soared into the sky. Zhao Hei directly used the treasure release. Although the treasure projected by the projection magic is not as powerful as the original one, but if the magic power is enough, it can also exert the power of the original treasure. Jiangnan can provide Zhao Hei with a constant supply of magic power. In Li Yunlong's words, he has never fought such a rich battle. Zhao Hei's current state can be said to be infinite magic power. The ultimate move can be used as a normal attack, and she herself is a small holy grail, which can easily adapt to the power of the heroic spirit. Zhao Hei swung the great sword in his hand, and the terrifying power turned into 9 slashes, and instantly rushed towards Gilgamesh. The storm rose. What a wonderful attack. In ancient Greek mythology, the head of the Hydra will grow again, even if it is cut off. After Hercules killed the Hydra with a bow and arrow, he could also imitate the ability of the bow and arrow with a great sword and use this attack method to the extreme. This is shooting 100 heads. Chapter 334. I didn't cheat. Zhao Hei swung the shooter, which was many times bigger than himself. When the noble phantasm was released, Gilgamesh felt the extreme danger. As a king living in the age of gods, he knew how powerful the Hercules in mythology was. 9 slashes appeared instantly, and the mountains collapsed, and the ground cracked. The power released by the noble phantasm left deep gullies on the ground. The street lamp, where Gilgamesh was standing, was destroyed instantly. The powerful 9 slashes continued for thousands of meters before stopping. Wherever the slashes passed, everything was completely destroyed. Weeds, gravel, rocks, all destroyed. Only 9 bottomless gullies were left on the ground. However, this attack did not kill Gilgamesh. As the most powerful heroic spirit in this Holy Grail war, it was only the release of a pseudo-noble phantasm, which was not enough to kill him. Zaxiu, you have successfully angered me. Countless shields appeared around Gilgamesh, and these shields were all noble phantasms in his king's treasure. Countless shields blocked the 100-head shooting that Zhao Hei released. Hundreds of golden ripples appeared in the sky. This time, the treasures that appeared in the ripples were B-level or above. Gilgamesh was really angry. Everyone was stunned by the number of treasures. Is this the number of treasures that a normal heroic spirit should have? There are even A-level treasures among them. A stronger heroic spirit only has 1 or 2 A-level treasures. Gilgamesh only revealed a corner of his king's treasure, and dozens of A-level treasures appeared. The 100-head shooting in Zhao Hei's hand dissipated. Looking at the golden ripples in the sky, her eyes were not afraid. Just now she released the treasure, but in just a moment, the missing magic power in her body was replenished. Jiangnan Brand Power Bank. Everyone says it's good. With endless backup magic power supply, Ziohei showed a sweet smile. Sword of promised victory. Ziohei stretched out her hands. Magic power began to condense, and a golden longsword instantly appeared in her hands. Saber's pupils shrank when she saw the golden sword. Isn't this a noble phantasm? Ziohei said that he was going to steal your account right in front of you. When the magical girl Elia was collecting heroic spirit cards, the Saber class card showed the Black and King Arthur. When Elia couldn't beat King Arthur, Ziohei logged in and directly projected King Arthur's sword of promised victory, and then the noble phantasm blasted and killed King Arthur. What Ziohei had to do now was to release the sword of promised victory, just like she did at that time. With the unlimited magic supply, she could release the ultimate move as a flat attack at will. Gilgamesh looked at the sword in Ziohei's hand and said sarcastically, "It's just a fake." Ziohei raised the sword of promised victory in his hand. The golden light condensed in his hand, and the extremely rich magic power rushed into the sky and turned into a beam of light. Noble phantasm released, sword of promised victory. The pupils of everyone watching this scene shrank. What kind of magic supply can allow a heroic spirit to release two noble phantasms in a short period of time? The release of noble phantasms is the ultimate skill of the heroic spirit, and each use consumes a lot of magic power. As a result, Ziohei came up with two trump cards. Gilgamesh shot out countless noble phantasms in an instant. Ziohei waved the sword of oath and victory in his hand with an excited smile. The golden light column burst out instantly, and the terrifying magic destroyed everything around. The dilapidated buildings, the debris piled around, and the weeds and trees were all submerged by the golden light column. The golden light column enveloped Gilgamesh. All the noble phantasms he shot out were destroyed by this sword. The sword of oath and victory is a noble phantasm against the city, and the range of attack is extremely wide. The huge light column then exploded directly, and a mushroom cloud instantly rose into the sky. Tens of thousands of meters around were all destroyed by this sword. This sword directly changed the terrain and destroyed everything around. Waver and Rider rode the ox cart and galloped in the sky. Standing high in the sky, they witnessed the terrifying power released by this noble phantasm. Waver's eyes were filled with fear. Is this the power of a heroic spirit? It's too terrifying. If you are hit by this kind of attack, not even a slag will be left. There is also this terrifying power that is enough to change the surrounding terrain. It's too powerful. Ryder laughed when he saw this scene. Haha, this holy grail war is more interesting than I thought. I didn't expect that little girl to have such a powerful power. Don't laugh or think about what to do. Waver looked at Ryder and said he felt that his future was dark. Liquid metal was constantly surging around Kenneth. Standing high up, he also witnessed the horror of this sword. Such a powerful force, even his lancer couldn't do it. Miscellaneous cultivator, you are looking for death. In the smoke and dust, a figure slowly emerged. It was Gilgamesh. At this moment, he was surrounded by shields. These shields were all B-level and A-level noble phantasms. It was these shields that blocked the release of the noble phantasm of the sword of promised victory. Gilgamesh was furious. After being beaten repeatedly, he was ready to use his ultimate weapon, the sword of separation. What king? Do you only like to talk? Ziohei's voice sounded faintly. Gilgamesh was instantly furious when he heard this. As the oldest king, Gilgamesh had many stages in his life. He had formed heroic spirits with different personalities in different stages. There was the wise King Shan, the young Shan, the tyrant Shan and the middle school Shan. And Shan at this moment was undoubtedly the latter. Ziohei once again raised the sword of oath and victory in her hand. The previous sword of oath and victory directly drained most of her magic power, but then the consumed magic power was replenished. She felt that she could continue to release the sword of oath and victory. How to describe this feeling? It was really great. Sword of oath and victory. Ziohei once again raised the sword in his hand, and the golden magic power once again condensed into a huge beam of light that shot up into the sky. This sword was even more powerful and terrifying than the previous one. Gilgamesh looked at the golden beam of light rushing towards the sky, and a proud smile appeared on his lips. Miscellaneous cultivator, I hope you can hold on for a while longer. A golden ripple appeared on the right side of Gilgamesh, and then something that looked like a key stretched out from it. In his mansion, Shichen did not want to expose his trump card directly on the first day of the Holy Grail War, so he chose to use the spell without hesitation. Use the spell, retreat. Gilgamesh, who was about to use his ultimate move, paused for a moment. He felt that his body was bound by something. It was the spell. The tyrant Gilgamesh was very self-centered, and he hated it most when someone interrupted him, when he was pretending. Chapter 335. It's all Shichen's fault. Shichen's behavior was undoubtedly a slap in Gilgamesh's face. The tyrant Gilgamesh hated being denied by others for his own decisions. He hated Shichen's boredom. You have to know that he participated in this Holy Grail War more like having fun, and he didn't care about winning. Shichen was also unlucky. Although he summoned the most powerful heroic spirit, this heroic spirit didn't listen to him at all. This was equivalent to recruiting a big father for himself, and in the end he was directly pitted to death. The heroic spirit could not disobey the curse, so Gilgamesh could only retreat. You bastard, be thankful. You survived. However, the Sword of the Sworn Victory that had been released responded to Gilgamesh. The huge beam of light instantly penetrated everything, and the destructive power was even stronger than before. A violent storm arose, and waves of shock waves continued to spread around. Smoke and dust rose into the sky, and a huge mushroom cloud appeared again. However, this powerful attack did not fall on Gilgamesh. At the moment the attack fell, he had already left, because of the curse. Xiao spoke, after he could no longer sense Gilgamesh's breath. Weren't you quite arrogant just now? Why are you running so fast? The battle ended hastily. Shichen wanted to hide himself, and didn't want to expose his trump card too early. But he didn't expect how much trouble his action would bring to himself. After seeing the battle was over, Xiao dispersed the projection treasure. The oath and the sword of victory in his hand turned into light spots and dissipated into the invisible. Now is the first day of the Holy Grail War. There is a long time to come. Don't rush. Xiao Illa, Matalkiriya, Xiao. It's time to leave. In the surprised eyes of everyone, Jiangnan directly tore the entire space with his bare hands. The surrounding space was like a mirror, with cracks appearing one after another, and then a hole was formed. Seeing this scene, Elia looked at Irisveal reluctantly. Goodbye, Mom. Xiao ran over and waved to Irisveal. See you next time, Mom. Matalkiriya took Xiao and walked into the torn space. Then the space slowly repaired. This is a magic that no one has ever seen, and it should be called a miracle magic. After Matalkiriya left, Lancelot also turned into a heroic spirit and disappeared. The first day of the confrontation ended here. Everyone then retreated. On the commanding heights, Imiya Kiritsugu, who was holding a sniper rifle, was thinking about the future that Jiangnan had mentioned. But how could he give up his ideal of being a partner of justice? His experience made him unable to stop at all. Even if the end of this road was so sad, he still had to move forward. He was a partner of justice. Imiya Kiritsugu. Kenneth quietly took Lancer away from the area. Ryder also left. Irisveal and Saber also left. The only thing left around was the terrain that was forcibly changed by a powerful force. The next day was sunny. Jiangnan woke up slowly. It was another new day, and he had to be happy on this day. Brushing teeth and washing face. Then he heard a scream. Jiangnan simply swept his divine thoughts lightly, and then continued to brush his teeth. Everything in the place, covered by the divine thoughts, was in sight. Elia upstairs looked around at the unfamiliar environment in a daze. Why are you screaming so early in the morning? Xiao, who was wearing cute pajamas, rubbed his eyes and said hazily. On the other side, Sakura also woke up in a daze. Sister Elia, what's wrong? Elia was embarrassed and scratched her head. She was sleepy. Now she remembered that they were participating in the Holy Grail War. Matalkiriya, who was busy in the kitchen, quickly prepared breakfast. From now on, he would take care of Sakura alone. Cooking is a survival skill that must be learned. Jiangnan came over while reading a novel on his mobile phone. Matalkiriya had just heard the scream, so he asked curiously, "What happened?" "Nothing, the child was sleepy." Matalkiriya nodded, and then brought the prepared dishes to the table. Everyone ate breakfast in a cheerful atmosphere, and they didn't feel that they were participating in a life and death holy grail war. The TV in the living room was playing the morning news. The news anchor was broadcasting a gas leak somewhere in the suburbs, which eventually caused an explosion. Fortunately, there were no casualties. Today is another peaceful day in Fuaoki City. Then the news anchor began to talk about a lot of knowledge about the use of gas and said that, as long as the operation is standardized, the gas will not leak, so he hopes that the general public can learn more. Jiangnan took a sip of millet porridge and said, as we all know, there is a problem with the gas transportation pipeline in Fuaoki City. If you are not careful, the whole Fuaoki City will turn into a sea of fire. Matao Kiriyama glanced at the news and said indifferently, the gas leak should not cause any big disaster, right? Jiangnan seemed to think of something interesting and said, it's hard to say. After the news anchor finished broadcasting the gas explosion, he broadcast another news. It was about the recent serial killer Ryunosuke, who was said to have come to Fuaoki City and committed crimes everywhere in Fuaoki City. After telling the general process of the case, the news anchor began to remind the general public not to talk to strangers casually. The Pure Love group is also online. Let's find a chance to kill them. After all, their behavior is pretty disgusting in my opinion. Jiangnan said lightly. Matao Kiriyama asked in confusion. What? Jiangnan, it's the caster group. How can I describe their group? It's a bit of a headache. They are two perverts. I guess King AI has been targeted. The news anchor was still reporting the news about Ryunosuke. After Ryunosuke kills someone, he will leave magic summoning circle on the ground. Matao Kiriyama looked at the summoning circle stained with blood on TV. It was the heroic spirit summoning circle. Mr. Jiangnan, will it be dangerous? Otherwise, I will let Berserker. No need, it's just a small matter. Jiangnan continued to eat breakfast. The human race is very diverse. There are many people like Ryunosuke in the human race. Even if one group is eliminated, there will be a second group, unless, as the Holy Grail said, if you want true world peace, you must kill all humans. So if you meet someone, just do it. If you don't meet someone, just don't care. Only in this way can you live easily. Jiangnan does things according to his mood. After breakfast, Jiangnan instantly fell ill and got lazy cancer. He wanted to stay at home and play games. Anyway, Caster would definitely go to find the King of Silence, so he was not in a hurry, or he wanted to see a dramatic scene. Chapter 336. I can't tell the difference. Saber didn't know that she had been targeted. Moreover, even Saber couldn't guarantee victory against the powerful beings that appeared in this Holy Grail war. The next day, the forest villa where Saber and Irisveal lived was attacked. A magic barrier had been set up in advance. But in front of the magician caster, this magic barrier was vulnerable. A roar sounded, and the barrier was directly blasted into pieces. Saber and Irisveal immediately ran out of the villa. After Saber sensed the danger, he immediately stood in front of Irisveal. There was a person standing in front of her. It was the heroic spirit caster, whose real identity was Giles de Race, a superfan of the Catholic Saint Joan of Arc, and a French marshal during the 100 Years' War between England and France. Giles de Race was an invincible military commander during his lifetime, but as a soldier, his strength was not his own military power, but his financial strength. The purpose of participating in the Holy Grail War is to resurrect and obtain Joan of Arc. I'm here to greet you, Saint. Caster has a very smooth and young face, with big eyes and smooth cheeks that are always moving flexibly. His brown face, which looks very matching, reminds people of Munch's paintings. His clothes are also very strange. He wears a wide robe on his slender body, and his clothes are decorated with a lot of luxurious precious metal jewelry. Irisveal looked at Saber and said, "Is he someone you know?" Saber frowned and thought for a while, then she was sure that she didn't know Caster in front of her. No. Caster went crazy as soon as he heard Saber say that she didn't know him. His big eyes kept moving, and his brain kept shaking. How is it possible? How is it possible? The Saint actually forgot me. Saber looked at the crazy Caster and said, "What do you mean by forget or not? This is the first time we meet. Did you recognize the wrong person? Damn it, why would I forget? I'm Giles de Ray. I pray for your resurrection in my heart, waiting for a miracle to meet you again, Joan of Arc. Why would you forget? Castor yelled hysterically. He once admired Joan of Arc so much that he even took a twisted path to revive her. Saber shook her head. You recognize the wrong person. I'm not Joan of Arc, but I will tell you my real name according to the etiquette of chivalry. My name is Altria, the King of Great Britain. No, 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 I will not recognize the wrong person. It is so sad that you, Saint, have lost your memory and even your mind is disordered. Castor's eyes were full of pain and distortion, and finally madness. A book appeared in Castor's hand. The moment Saber sensed the danger, she summoned her silver armor and the sword of the promised victory. Ha ha ha, Saint, I will let you remember me. I have prepared the treatment method before you come. Castor's face suddenly became extremely distorted. The magic book in his hand kept flipping, which was his treasure. It could communicate with the monsters of the legendary Cthulhu system, and even summon such monsters. At this moment, a series of muffled thunder sounded. This was the sound of a sports car accelerating to the extreme, and the exhaust pipe was roaring wildly. In the distance, a car was driving wildly on the small road, and there was a flamethrower behind the car that was constantly spraying. This was a modified racing car, the favorite racing car of the middle school boy and the ghost fireboy. The racing car jumped directly from the cliff and then hit the open space in front of Aliceville Castle heavily. Then the car was scrapped and thick black smoke came out of the engine of the car. Brother Jiangnan, your driving skills need to be improved. Xiao Yan's voice came from the abandoned sports car. The sound of the sports car falling from the sky also attracted everyone's attention. Kakaka. In the surprised eyes of everyone, Jiangnan found that the door of the car seemed to be stuck. The car modified by those ghost fireboys is really not very good. It just reached 300 miles per hour and it broke down. Seeing that he couldn't push the door open, Jiangnan kicked it open. The door shook twice and fell to the ground with a bang. Jiangnan's foot that kicked the door open slowly landed on the ground, and then he took out a pair of sunglasses from the void and put them on his eyes. There should be a background music at this time. Xiao Yan, get on the sound system. The main character's appearance often requires background music. This can make the main character look very high-end, such as Kao Feng, the hero Kao. In my background music, no one can beat me. Xiao Yan in the car took out a big speaker helplessly. Then he pressed it. As the prelude sounded, the young and dangerous officially appeared. Xiao Yan carried the speaker and played the Young and Dangerous's entrance song, Superstar in Troubled Times. Back then, Chen Haonan, the leader of Causeway Bay, directly beat everyone with this background music. I'm the master of the world, and I'm admired by everyone. I'm the master of the world, and I never need to look back. I will change the world, and I will write the laws that respect myself. This fierce wolf with flashing eyes, I was born to love singing and be arrogant. Xiao Yan carried the speakers and looked at Irisville a little embarrassedly. She felt that this behavior was extremely socially dead in front of her mother. Soon Jiangnan walked to the center of the battlefield with Mingfei's steps. What is arrogance? This is arrogance, but in Irisville's eyes, Jiangnan looks like a severely ill boy with a second-year syndrome. Jiangnan stretched out his hand handsomely and pressed it down gently. Xiao Yan turned off the background music directly. You never thought that I would appear at this time. Castor glanced at Jiangnan. The book in his hand was still turning. Are you here to stop me? No one can stop me from freeing Joan of Arc's soul from God's curse. Damn God, he actually let Joan of Arc forget me. Castor shook his head, mad and crazy, like a pervert. Jiangnan glanced at Saber, and then at the perverted Castor. Joan of Arc is not here. As the judge, she did not participate in this Holy Grail war. Jiangnan pretended to be puzzled. What are you kidding? Joan of Arc is clearly there, but she just forgot. Castor pointed at Saber. Jiangnan looked up and down at Saber, and then at Castor. Big eyes are cute. Although I know you have a problem with your brain, I didn't expect that you also have a problem with your eyes. Joan of Arc is a woman with a broad mind. At least she is an E, and the saber in front of you is an A, no matter how you look at it. Obviously not worth it. Jiangnan gestured at his chest. Judging people by their chests is the top identification skill in the second dimension. Saber lowered her head slightly and looked at her own ever since she drew the sword of promised victory at the age of 15. Her body had stopped growing. A 15-year-old girl would be an A if she developed normally. But Jean was already 19 years old before she died, and she had all the necessary size. Chapter 337, Tentacles. Caster was stunned. As a comrade of the same Jean, he knew everything about Jean, including her body data. Saber and Jean do look a bit similar, but the difference in body size is huge. After Jiang Nan's reminder, Caster looked Saber up and down. Finally, he stopped at Saber's chest for a while. He concluded that it was a bit flat, not as broad-minded as the Jean he admired. Saber looked cold and said in a bad tone, "You guys are so rude. Sorry. After all, it's really fun." Jiang Nan scratched his head embarrassedly. Caster's two big eyeballs spun wildly, and his brain was shaking again. Jean. Damn it, you are not Jean at all. You dare to lie to me. Caster spoke angrily. After confirming that Saber was not Jean, he began to go crazy again. Caster flipped his treasure, the Loan City textbook. Countless tentacles appeared from the darkness. Densely packed tentacle monsters appeared here. Disgusting, twisted, polluted. The wriggling pieces of flesh impacted human cognition and spirit. So disgusting. Zhao couldn't help but frown. You all have to die. Caster was extremely excited, and the magic power in his body was surging wildly. Jiang Nan looked at the tentacle monsters around him and sighed. Each tentacle monster here represents a lost little life. When a child's life is sacrificed, a tentacle monster will appear. I really hate you, Zhao. Kill Caster. I've wanted to kill him for a long time. Although Zhao is just a child, he is very powerful in combat. The yin yang double swords were projected. Then they were thrown directly at Caster. Several tentacles appeared around Caster in an instant to block the two swords. Saber, let's cooperate, Jiang Nan said with a smile. Saber's eyes flashed with a hint of hesitation. She followed the spirit of chivalry and didn't like to fight each other in groups. This battle, we call this a righteous gang fight. If you knew what he did, I believe you would not be able to resist killing him. Jiang Nan casually threw a few photos. The photos fluttered and fell into the hands of Saber and Iris Veal. When the two saw the pictures clearly, their faces instantly became very gloomy. The photos showed the scene of Caster's magic workshop, and the sacrifices in the magic workshop were all children. Gilles de Rais was born in France in 1405. He was born a nobleman with a fiefdom. During the 100 Years' War between England and France, he was a comrade in arms of the French national hero, Joan of Arc. He was once hailed as a national hero, but after Joan of Arc was captured, the Baron suffered a great mental blow and retired to the territories of Mashkil and Tifauj to study alchemy. He hoped to discover the secret of alchemy. In the process, he tortured more than 300 children to death and was later burned at the stake. Jiang Nan said lightly. Saber looked at Caster with disgust. Such a scum deserves death. They also know that there is a murderer who kidnaps children in Fuaoki City, but they didn't expect Caster to be the murderer. This has broken the rules of the Holy Grail War. But as we all know, the rules of the Holy Grail War are meant to be broken. Zhao jumped into the sky, and a hunting bow appeared in his hand. Make a big hole for me. Fake. Spiral sword. A long sword appeared in Zhao hand. The blade of this long sword was wrapped in a spiral shape, and the whole sword looked like a spiral arrow. This is a treasure projected by projection magic. It is a modified version of the authentic spiral sword. Despite this, it is also very powerful. When it is released with a real name, it can even cut through space and penetrate all objects. Zhao put the spiral arrow on the bowstring. Then he aimed at Caster, who was wrapped in tentacles. Then he shot a sword, and the sound of a storm instantly whistled out. The spiral sword penetrated countless tentacles and directly penetrated Caster's body. A super big hole appeared in Caster's body. Is it over? No. Caster looked at the big hole in his body and laughed crazily. The treasure in his hand was flipping wildly. The treasure was released. Caster sacrificed himself and communicated with the monster of the myth system. Ha, all of you die. Saber cleared the surrounding tentacle monsters after joining the battlefield. A huge summoning circle appeared, engraved with twisted runes. Countless tentacles wrapped around Caster, then pulled him into the abyss. Then a monster more than 10 meters tall rushed out of the magic circle. The monster was full of evil breath, and countless tentacles and pieces of meat were constantly wriggling. Saber looked at the huge monster with cold eyes. The huge monster casually waved its tentacles and destroyed everything around it. The villa where Alice lived was destroyed in an instant. Jiangnan looked at the extremely impactful monster in front of him and said with a smile, "It's getting more and more interesting and more dangerous. What should we do at this time? We should take a photo and send it to WeChat Moments first." Jiangnan took out his mobile phone and came to Alice's side. "Hey, D-lady, can we take a photo together?" Alice looked at Jiangnan in a daze. On the other side, Saber and Ziohedi had already faced the giant tentacle monster. Ziohedi kept firing black arrows, but these fatal attacks were useless against the giant tentacle monster. Saber swung her sword and a sword energy was instantly stimulated, directly cutting off several tentacles. Iris Veal looked at the two people on the battlefield with some concern. But Jiangnan was not worried at all, but shook the phone in his hand. "Madam, do you want to commemorate this important moment?" After hesitating for a while, Iris Veal agreed. Okay. She was curious about everything. The same was true for the smartphone in Jiangnan's hand. The Fourth Holy Grail War took place in 1990. At that time, let alone smartphones, even mobile phones were not common. Jiangnan approached Iris Veal, and the appearance of two people appeared on the screen of the phone. Things that had never been seen before aroused Iris Veal's curiosity. "Amazing. What is this?" "The camera function of a smartphone. I have a phone with super high pixels. Come on, smile." "Yeah." Jiangnan smiled and raised two fingers in the picture displayed on the camera of his mobile phone. Alice did the same and raised two fingers. The two people were very close to each other, and they seemed to have a good relationship. You should know that China, where Jiangnan lived, before traveling through time, has a per capita white hair control. In addition, many people have the potential to be a hero. They admire Boss KO and believe that heroes in troubled times can make a career in today's society. So when learning how Boss KO behaves and does things, they also learned some of Boss KO's hobbies. Click. Time freezes at this moment. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 338, No Rush, Post to Moments First. Alice looked at the frozen picture on the phone, her eyes full of curiosity. "This square box is so powerful. Butler, save the photo to the album." "Okay, master." "No problem, master." It was the smart butler in the phone who spoke. Many mobile phones now have this function. You can even chat in a very humane way. Alice looked at the box in Jiangnan's hand and made such a humane voice, feeling very surprised. What a great thing. Jiangnan raised his phone and opened the photo he had just taken in the album. "Madam, you are really photogenic. You are so beautiful. It would be great if I could marry such a lovely wife," Jiangnan said with a smile. After being praised for her beauty, Alice covered her face and felt a little embarrassed. Alice was a man-made person created as a carrier of the Holy Grail. She has been staying in the castle of Eansburn since she was born and has never gone out. She is too simple, has been with few people, and does not know the sinister nature of human hearts. The man and woman in the photo are smiling happily. The background was two people beating up a giant tentacle monster. There were broken limbs and ruins all around. The luxurious castle had turned into ruins. Jiangnan looked at the photo and sent it to the chat group without hesitation. Chat group. Group leader Jiangnan, what should we do if we encounter danger? Take a picture and post it to Moments First. Namikaze Minato, thumbs up. At Sugakuna Yoriichi, it looks like the group leader is having a lot of fun. Mingfei, oh my god, is this a tentacle monster fighting a magical girl? Xiao Yan, the group leader is still so reckless. Saitama, he looks quite strong. Xiao Yan, forget it, I'll probably be killed by one punch from you. Elia, hey, Brother Jiangnan, why don't you take me with you when you go out to play? Group leader Jiangnan, hey, I forgot. Group leader Jiangnan, Illa, take Xiao hey, and don't take me. I also want to play with mom. Group leader Jiangnan, I'm not taking you, because if we are not careful, it really will develop into a situation where the magical girl is fighting a tentacle monster. Mingfei, hehe. By the way, that tentacle monster looks familiar. It looks like a sea monster summoned by Bluebeard. Group leader Jiangnan, old Lu. You are so smart, it's that sea monster. Mingfei, Jingshan, what are you talking about? Xiao Yan, did the group leader travel through time again? Group leader Jiangnan, it can't be considered traveling through time. It can only be said that he went to other parallel worlds. After all, there are so many parallel worlds in the Type Moon world. Mingfei, oh my god, didn't he meet my king? Mingfei, the king of Ahomale is awesome. Group leader Jiangnan, your otaku attribute exposed old Lu. Mingfei, hehe. Xiao Yan, isn't it just an otaku? I won't look down on you. Mingfei, you, Long A Ocean, you are different from us. Woo, the script you got is really good. Xiao Yan, blame me. Namikaze Minato, sure enough, the water group is the most interesting thing. Xiao G, wow, what a powerful monster. Xiao Yan, the monsters in your hunter world are pretty good. Mingfei, that's a tentacle monster. A frequent visitor to the world of hentai. Kaofeng, what are you talking about? Mingfei, it's okay, Master Kaio, we are just discussing the daily photos posted by the group leader. Xiao Yan, the world where Master Kaio is an ancient martial arts world. There are no such weird things. Mingfei, a magnificent martial arts world, a glass of wine and a sword. I have stories and you have wine. Kaofeng, the martial arts world is not just about fighting and killing. Group leader Jiangnan, there are also human relationships. Illa, brother Jiangnan, can I go over? I can help too. Group leader Jiangnan, it's okay, I'll tie up your mother in a while. Illa, oh. Mingfei, he feels a bit like a gangster leader. Jiguanai, the group leader has always been consistent in what he does, and he integrates knowledge and action. This is a state of mind. Mingfei, teacher, to be frank is shameless. Namikaze Minato, can this be talked about? Group leader Jiangnan, Mingfei, you haven't fought for 3 days, and you want to tear down the roof. Mingfei, you're on your knees. Jingshan, hehe, you're a coward in a second. Mingfei, I'm not a coward, I'm doing it from the heart. Xiao Yan, when I get stronger, I'm going to play in other worlds too. Mingfei, come to my place to play, and I'll take you to eat hot dogs, take the bus, and take you to the internet cafe to play all night. Group leader Jiangnan, Mingfei, this is all you want. By the way, add me in, and I'll definitely lead the 5-person team. Xiao Yan, next time I'll definitely go to bronze. Kyangri, oh, what a headache. The Xiangbing company has been criticized recently, and the devil is here, and there are angels. Mingfei, do you want me to go over and help? Beat them until they call me daddy. Group leader Jiangnan, that's right, beat them to death. Kyangri, it's okay, we can still hold on. If the day comes when an all-out war really breaks out, I hope you can help me a little. Bibidang, I can help too. Xiao Yan, fight the aliens. I'll come too. Saitama, how about taking me with you? Mingfei, boss, why are you a maximum level character coming to the novice village? Can those people survive if you get there? Xiao Yan, that's right, they are not strong enough for one punch from you. Mingfei, but the 4th generation divine body can aggregate atoms, so it should be able to withstand one more punch from you. Saitama, really? Group leader Jiangnan, I don't know if it can withstand one more punch from me. Namikaze Minato, if the group leader really wants to kill them, it may only take a moment to wipe them all out. Mingfei, just like Thanos snapping his fingers. Group leader Jiangnan, you also know this? Mingfei, I like reading comics. Kyujo Jotaro, duck come, but if it's the group leader, he can do it. The group leader is really powerful. Kyangri, our earth is ours after all. Chapter 339, Curry Sticks. The tentacle monster was forced to retreat step by the two. Saber slashed with the invisible sword, directly crushing countless tentacles, leaving a huge wound on the sea monster. The magic power surged, and the dark breath burst out from the sea monster. Countless tentacles swept towards Saber. Saber waved the sword in her hand again, and the Wind King barrier unfolded, and countless wind blades crushed the tentacles. Xiao pulled the hunting bow, and countless black arrows burst out, and then exploded directly, projecting the treasure, and then directly self-destructing the treasure. This is the attack method of the heroic spirit Emiya. The treasure projected by the projection magic can self-destruct, and be used as a disposable item. The power generated by the self-destruction of the treasure is very powerful. But even so, it still did not cause much substantial damage to the sea monster. It's time to end. Although the battle only lasted for a moment, Xiao already wanted to end it. This boring battle will end here. The hunting bow in his hand gradually dissipated. Then the condensed magic power began to project. She was going to project a city-killing treasure that could carry out a large-scale attack on the enemy. Saber also untied the Wind King's barrier that bound the sword. The Sword of Oath and Victory appeared. This was the genuine product, a holy sword made by the real lake spirit. Saber's eyes were very cold. After knowing what Caster had done, she hated Caster's behavior. Such a guy should not participate in this holy grail war. Xiao was too lazy to project other city-killing treasures, and directly projected Saber's Sword of Oath and Victory. The sea demon roared, and the tentacles on his body kept sweeping. Jiangnan looked at the tentacles rushing towards himself and Irisville, and just frowned in displeasure. Then the tentacles, that stretched out, were cut off by the invisible force. Jiangnan had tens of thousands of different spells around his body. As long as he sensed the evil hostility, the spell would automatically work. Saber saw the sea demon raise the sword in his hand without hesitation. The treasure was released. Countless golden lights gathered on the sword. Saber was so sacred at this moment. The sword of promised victory in Xiao's hand was simply a collection of magic power. After all, the treasure projected by projection magic was just a fake. It would always be inferior to the real thing. Saber held up the golden sword. Her eyes were more serious than ever before. This was the sword that brought her victory. It was also her life. Weapons were the second life of a warrior. If there were no weapons on the battlefield, even the most basic resistance would be impossible. The magic power was rioting. The aftermath would impact far away. Jiangnan tore open the space and directly pulled Irisville away from the battlefield and came to the high cliff. This was a good commanding height, where he could see everything on the battlefield. Then Jiangnan saw Kiritsugu Emiya with a sniper rifle. Suddenly, the atmosphere at the scene became a little awkward. The sniper rifle in Kiritsugu Emiya's hand had been aimed at Jiangnan. But every time Jiangnan would unconsciously use Irisville as a shield, Kiritsugu Emiya couldn't shoot. And what Jiangnan said before kept lingering in his mind. Partners of justice, are they really pathetic? Oh my, who did I think it was? It turned out to be a partner of justice. Jiangnan was the first to break the silence. Emiya Kiritsugu looked at Jiangnan holding his wife Irisville and just frowned. Irisville pulled her hand away embarrassedly. Emiya Kiritsugu was silent for a moment and asked, "Who are you?" There should have been only 7 pairs of servants and masters in this holy grail war. Jiangnan narrowed his eyes. Who knows? But I think you should want to know more, whether the future I said is true. I can tell you responsibly that, if you withdraw from the holy grail war now, nothing will happen. Take your wife and children and run as far as you can. It is your best choice. Emiya Kiritsugu in this parallel world will never give up his wish. Even if the reality is very cruel. He placed his ideal on the holy grail, but he didn't know that it was already a black holy grail. The choice Jiangnan said was the happiest choice for Emiya Kiritsugu. The parallel world where the magical girl Alia is. Emiya Kiritsugu and Irisville made this choice. They chose to take Alia away from the Eansburn family and live a happy and simple life. In this way, Alia should be happier. Alia in the magical girl world encountered various dangers because she met the ruby and became a magical girl. It is well known that since Genya Robertchi started writing, magical girls have become representatives of dark, cruel and high-risk professions. If Kiritsugu Emiya did not choose this path, his righteous ideals would definitely make him smash the holy grail without hesitation. then everyone in Fuuki City would go to heaven together, and 10 years later, in the 5th Holy Grail War, Elia will meet an enthusiastic citizen, Gilgamesh. The enthusiastic citizen Gilgamesh said that he wanted to say something from the heart to her, in a physical way. I can't make such a choice. Kiritsugu Emiya looked at Irisville with a very complicated expression. Irisville had an understanding smile on her face. Kiritsugu, no matter what your choice is, I will support you. You are really a wife who supports her husband unconditionally. That's why when Emiya Kiritsugu strangles you, he is so painful and almost collapses. Jiangnan spread his hands helplessly. Emiya Kiritsugu's fingers moved slightly, and an ancient musket was placed in his pocket. This kind of gun can only fire one bullet, but this bullet is a very deadly bullet to magicians. The origin bullet. The stronger the magician, the more miserable it is to be hit by this bullet. This is Emiya Kiritsugu's killer. But Jiangnan is not a magician. He is an immortal who has mastered the Great Way. He lives as long as the heaven and the earth, is immortal, soars between the heaven and the earth, has no constraints, and even the heaven can't do anything to him. Of course, in the world of Type Moon, it is Jair and Alea. If Jiangnan wants to destroy this world, Jair and Alea will choose to cut off this world without hesitation. After all, the world of Type Moon has countless parallel worlds. Just like a giant tree has countless branches. It's no problem to break 1 or 2 branches. If I were you, I wouldn't do this. Emiya Kiritsugu. I admire your ideals as a righteous partner, but you are still too weak after all. Jiangnan smiled and reached into the void, then easily took away the musket hidden in Emiya Kiritsugu's pocket. The ancient pattern was wrapped around the gun, and the texture was very comfortable to hold. At this time, the gun was loaded with an origin bullet. Emiya Kiritsugu's pupils shrank when he looked at the gun that appeared in Jiangnan. This was a gun he was very familiar with. Chapter 340, Robbery. Jiangnan fiddled with the gun in his hand. The gun was loaded with the origin bullet. The origin bullet was a magic bullet that contained the origins of cutting and combining. Emiya Kiritsugu's origin of cutting and connecting would bring an irreversible qualitative change to the target. The origin bullet was made by taking out the first and second ribs of Kiritsugu's flank and grinding them into powder, condensing them through spiritual engineering, and sealing them into 66 bullets as the core material. Before the Fourth War, 37 of the 66 bullets had been used, and 37 magicians had been buried. The bullet would materialize Kiritsugu's origin to the hit target. If it hits a living organism, there would be no wound or bleeding, but the part that was hit would become like an old necrotic wound. The surface looked like it was healed, but the nerves and capillaries did not regenerate accurately and lost their original functions. In the case of interference by magic, the target's magic circuit would be shattered for a time, and because it was connected irregularly, it would become unable to recover. The magnitude of the lethality depends on how many magic circuits are activated at the moment of hitting the target. Because it is the magic power of the caster that destroys the caster's body. Jiangnan pointed the gun in his hand at Emiya Kiritsugu without hesitation. His finger was on the trigger. Emiya Kiritsugu instantly became extremely alert. Jiangnan slightly shifted the muzzle of the gun and pointed it at Irisville. Emiya Kiritsugu, you said that you would go crazy if you killed your wife with a bullet polished from your ribs. Jiangnan had a very casual smile on his face, but no one thought he was joking. Emiya Kiritsugu only felt immense pressure and danger. The boy in front of him was a very dangerous guy. What do you want? Emiya Kiritsugu said coldly, not daring to move the sniper rifle in his hand. On the other side, 2 beams of light shot up into the sky. The golden light was so dazzling. Even Caster in the pile of tentacles couldn't help but reach out his hand. Joan of Arc, I finally see you again. Sort of promised victory. 2 beams of light fell at the same time, and the violent power destroyed everything. The 2 beams of light bombarded the sea demon. In the endless golden light, Caster died. Not even a slag was left. The sky was full of dust, endless ruins, and a sword mark pierced through the ruins. The battle was over. With the command seal, Saber come back. Saber was about to breathe a sigh of relief when the voice of Emiya Kiritsugu appeared in her mind. The next second her body turned into starlight and disappeared. Zio Hei tilted his head and watched this scene. Brother Jiangnan said that the father in this world is a person who will do anything for justice and can even kill the person he loves most with his own hands. Do you want to take this opportunity to kill Brother Jiangnan? Go and have a look. On the cliff, Saber suddenly appeared and blocked in front of Iris Veal. Imiya Kiritsugu, you are more interesting than I thought. How can you always choose the wrong choice? No, it should be said that the choice you made in this world line is already predetermined, because this is fate. How sad. Jiangnan covered his face with one hand, and his body was very twisted because of excessive excitement. This is the JoJo stand of the villain. Saber sensed the danger the moment he came here, and then pointed the blade at Jiangnan. You guys, you actually betrayed your collaborator behind your back. It's really despicable. Jiangnan smiled lightly. Saber, don't lie with your eyes open. Don't you know your master's character? It's obvious that he has always wanted to stab me in the back. Since the battle started, his sniper rifle has been aiming at my head. I was just forced to fight back. Even if it is based on the current law, I'm self-defense. Jiangnan defended himself without hesitation. For him, there is no existence that can stop what he wants to do. He doesn't mind doing something according to the self-cultivation of the villain. The first rule of self-cultivation for villains is to talk more before fighting. You should also talk more when you are about to kill the protagonist. Saber, protect Iris Veal. Understood, Master. The next second, Zhao fell from the sky and came to Jiangnan's side. Zhao has all the knowledge of the Holy Grail War, so she knows Imiya Kiritsugu's origin bullet. In the final battle of Magical Guerrilla, she killed Darius with the origin bullet. Brother Jiangnan, don't worry, I like the perfect ending the most. Although it is a bit cliché, I like it. However, the process may be more tortuous. Jiangnan said with a smile, but the gun in his hand was still pointed at Iris Veal. Saber frowned and thought, then glanced at the sniper rifle in Imiya Kiritsugu's hand. Saber knew the character of her master. Imiya Kiritsugu actually wanted an assassin in the Holy Grail War class. Saber's swordsman class belongs to the type of frontal hard fight, and the noble King Arthur can't do a despicable assassination. Jiangnan, Imiya Kiritsugu is my master. I will not give up this war of life easily in order to save everything. Saber, you are so sad that you are cute. Until now, you still don't seem to know the real reason for the demise of your kingdom. In my country, there is a very interesting saying. He who wins the hearts of the people wins the world. How can a king who doesn't understand the hearts of the people win the hearts of the people? Jiangnan spoke calmly, but Saber's body trembled unconsciously when he heard this. King Arthur doesn't understand the hearts of the people. Blindly giving, being too perfect and noble will make the distance between the people and the king too far. Such a kingdom is destined to be destroyed. Okay, I won't chat with you anymore. After all, in addition to killing Castor, I'm also going to rob the Holy Grail, which is Iris Veal. Are you willing to go with me? After saying that, Jiangnan pulled the trigger. Bang! The sudden attack made Imiya Kiritsugu unable to react. But King Arthur, who turned into a heroic spirit, was able to react. For a heroic spirit, it is not difficult to swing a sword to cut bullets. The origin bullet is only useful if it is shot into the body of the magician. If it cannot be shot into the body, what is the difference between it and an ordinary bullet? Saber swung the sword quickly and cut off the origin bullet with one sword. There was only one bullet in the origin gun. You are careless, Saber. Jiangnan's voice suddenly sounded from behind everyone. At that moment, he came to Iris Veal's side. One hand covered Iris Veal's mouth, and the other hand hugged her waist, slowly dragging her into the void. Time seemed to slow down infinitely at this moment. Iris Veal is the Holy Grail, an indispensable existence in this war. In the end, she sacrificed her life and became the Black Holy Grail, willing to fulfill Kiritsugu Imiya's wish. Chapter 341, Black Holy Grail. Because in the Third Holy Grail War, the evil of this world polluted the Holy Grail. So this Holy Grail War is destined to have no winner. Jiangnan seemed to kidnap Iris Veal, but in fact he was saving the entire Fuuki city. As long as Iris Veal does not transform into the Holy Grail. After the Holy Grail War is over, everyone should go back to their own homes and find their own mothers. Anyway, the Holy Grail War has never been successful since it was held. The root of the third grail of heaven cannot be achieved easily. Jiang Nan hid behind Iris Veil's body. Such a despicable act made Inuyasha Ritsugu grit his teeth. Hesitation will lead to defeat. Jiang Nan pulled Iris Veil into the void. The surrounding space began to fold, like a mirror. Hallucination. Countless figures appeared in the folded space, which were mirrors, reflecting the two people in the mirror. Inuyasha Ritsugu and Saber felt that they had entered the mirror maze, and they were all around them. Saber swung her sword and slashed lightly, and the surrounding scenes all shattered and turned into dots of starlight. Only Inuyasha Ritsugu and Saber were left there. Jiang Nan had already left with Alice and Ziohei. Walking in the dim space passage, Jiang Nan carried Alice like a sack. Alice struggled frantically. Her white hair floated slightly, but the magic power in her body was completely imprisoned. Let me go, let me go. What on earth do you want to do? I misjudged you. Alice could only gently hit Jiang Nan with her hands. Don't worry, ma'am. I'm more like a righteous partner than your husband. Jiang Nan had a very happy smile on his face. Ziohei looked at his mother and comforted him. Don't worry, Mom. Brother Jiang Nan must have his own reasons for doing this. Alice felt very uncomfortable when she saw that her child didn't help her. She felt like crying. Walking out of the space passage, they came to the big house of the Matau family. Elia rubbed Ruby angrily. Damn it, Brother Jiang Nan played with Ziohei, but not with me. Ruby still said with full of energy. Maybe Elia is too stupid, and some people just like black-skinned little girls, like the junior college girl with rapper I saw on the internet. I'm back. Elia, I robbed your mother. Jiang Nan's voice suddenly sounded. Elia turned around and saw Jiang Nan coming out of the space channel with a familiar figure on his shoulder. Mom. Jiang Nan came to the living room and threw Iris Veil on the sofa. Iris Veil stared at Jiang Nan angrily. Her face was swollen like a bun. She looked very cute. Seeing this scene, Jiang Nan couldn't help but speak. Madam, I advise you to be honest. You don't want Kiritsugu Inuyasha to be bad, do you? Jiang Nan's tone and expression were exactly the same as the male protagonist in a popular movie in Tokyo. Iris Veil instantly felt a very dangerous feeling. What do you want to do? No. Jiang Nan said with a smile. In terms of shameless skills, Jiang Nan felt that there should be no one in the world who is more shameless than him. Ziohei couldn't stand it anymore and pushed Jiang Nan out of the living room. Don't bully Mom. Ziohei knew much more than Elia. But as a sister, she didn't like to tell Elia about those things. For example, the cruelty of the rituals of the Holy Grail War. As the carrier of the Holy Grail in the Holy Grail War, Iris Veil will die. When the Holy Grail appears, Iris Veil will be swallowed. Elia is also a Holy Grail, and one day she may die because of it. After all, who knows if there will be enthusiastic citizens like Jin Shanshan who want to talk to you from the bottom of their hearts. Even if they are not in the same world, Ziohei doesn't want his gentle mother to die. Now that Jiang Nan has tied Iris Veil up, Ziohei must protect his mother well. Jiang Nan told Ziohei that he didn't need the Black Holy Grail in Iris Veil's body. If he made a wish with the Black Holy Grail, he would be contaminated by the evil of this world. Although Ziohei didn't know what Jiang Nan was thinking, Jiang Nan was always confident, as if everything was under control. After Iris Veil's magic power was imprisoned, she became an ordinary wife, and it was impossible for her to go out. The Matau family had a barrier, so she couldn't escape. The next day passed happily. On this day, Iris Veil found that the Matau family was very different from what she imagined. In her impression, the head of the Matau family was a bug master, and there must be a lot of annoying bugs in the house. But in fact there were no bugs, and the house was very clean. Very clean. Inuyasha Ritsugu is a very smart guy and a very rational and righteous partner. After the battle, Saber felt that he was very derelict in his duty as a knight. But Inuyasha Ritsugu told her not to worry, and Iris Veil might be safer staying on Jiang Nan's side. After all, if she stayed on this side, Iris Veil would definitely be attacked by other heroic spirits. Saber might not be able to protect the two of them. And it would also make this magician killer Inuyasha Ritsugu helpless. Iris Veil has dropped many masters and heroic spirits as bait. At this time, Imiya Karitsugu felt that it would be better to kill other masters directly than to rescue Iris Veal. So that night, Director Ken and his fiancée were attacked by Imiya Karitsugu. Director Ken really didn't expect that the fight between magicians would use scientific means. Imiya Karitsugu directly used hundreds of kilograms of explosives to blow up the hotel where Director Ken was. The hotel with more than 10 floors was instantly blown up and turned into ruins. However, Kenneth was one of the 12 monarchs after all, so it was naturally impossible for him to fall like this. So this feud was formed. Kenneth began to investigate which bastard blew up his building and almost caused the death of himself and his fiancée. Then he found out about the magician killer Imiya Karitsugu. The means used by Imiya Karitsugu were not the means used by genuine magicians. As one of the 12 monarchs, Kenneth disdained Imiya Karitsugu's means, but he wanted revenge. Despicable is the pass of the despicable, and noble is the epitaph of the noble. While fighting on the other side, Jiangnan was living a relaxed daily life. Fun. There are so many fun things outside, but Karitsugu didn't even take me to play. On the huge TV screen, Iris Veal and Jiangnan were playing the Suba, a card-based game console. They were now playing Ninja Turtles Battle. Iris Veal excitedly pressed the handle in her hand, and Jiangnan looked at Iris Veal and remembered the scene when he was playing the Suba just now, and he was also so excited. Chapter 342, Turmoil. Iris Veal had a phone call with Imiya Karitsugu. She said she was safe. The two children said they would protect themselves. Imiya Karitsugu asked Iris Veal to stay there, and he would pick her up when he was done. After Iris Veal finished the call, she felt relieved to stay here. She found that Jiangnan was not as bad as she had imagined. Xiao Yan also told Iris Veal that he brought her here because he did not want her to become the Holy Grail and die. Iris Veal said, "It is fate, the fate of the Eansburn family," and she was willing to die for Imiya Karitsugu. Xiao Yan was very angry at the time, but he was coaxed later. They were more relaxed here, but many things happened to other people. Imiya Karitsugu's assistant Maya was hunted down by Kotomin Kairi. After Kotomin Kairi returned, he met Gilgamesh, and the pleasure class began. Gilgamesh expressed the wish of Shichen that it was too boring to reach the root, and he had to learn to enjoy the time of pleasure. Kotomin Kairi expressed his incomprehension. Kenneth took his heroic spirit and prepared to hunt down Imiya Karitsugu. King of Conquerors Rider thought that there were 3 kings in this Holy Grail war, and he wanted to discuss the kingly way with the other 2 kings. So the 3rd day passed like this. Jiangnan suddenly felt something while sleeping and opened his eyes. It turned out that Kenneth was pierced through the body by the origin bullet, and Kenneth, one of the 12 monarchs, was going to die. His spearmen also felt like they were going to die. Since ancient times, the luck of spearmen is not as simple as it sounds. On the 4th day, it was obvious that the atmosphere of the Holy Grail War had become tense. In 4 days, only a pair of servants and masters had died. Jiangnan drank his afternoon tea, looking at a few familiars flying outside the window, monitoring the place. Boring guy. Jiangnan drank his afternoon tea in one gulp. For him, leisure time should also be enjoyed. In the open space in the yard outside the window, Matao Kiryu was holding a steel knife and swinging the sword continuously, which jumped in a rhythmic manner between his breath. Huff, huff, huff. The upper body of Jiangnan Yanai has long been soaked with sweat. After Jiangnan's devilish training in the past few days, Jiangnan Yanai has undergone a qualitative transformation. Now he can barely be called a warrior. But if you want to become stronger, you need to keep training. Keep polishing your body and mind, and your state of mind will naturally improve in this process. Every time Jiangnan Yanai is about to give up, Xiaoying's innocent smile will flash through his mind. The power of wanting to protect someone drives Jiangnan Yanai to go on. Jiangnan Yanai's training method can be said to have tapped all the potential in the body and squeezed every bit of strength. This practice will cause the body to die because it cannot withstand the pressure of training. But with Jiangnan around, if you want to get stronger quickly, in addition to training, you have to take drugs. Coincidentally, Jiangnan has a lot of low-level bodybuilding medicines refined by Xiao Yan. Jiangnan Yanai trains hard during the day. Take a medicinal bath at night and make sure you are full of energy the next day to continue enjoying the devilish training. Only those who endure hardships can become superior people. 3000. After Matao Kiriyama swung the steel sword perfectly 3000 times, he stopped. He wanted to comprehend this training. Sakura sat under the eaves, quietly watching Matao Kiriyama. She knew that Matao Kiriyama became stronger to protect her. In the past few days, Sakura has gradually found herself again. She now has a new family, Uncle Matao Kiriyama. Uncle Kiriyama, drink some water. Sakura ran over and handed over the mineral water in her hand. Matao Kiriyama had a smile on his face. Thank you, Sakura. Time quickly came to the afternoon. It was almost time to do something. The last duel between knights has not ended yet. The contest between King Arthur and Lancelot has not yet ended. Iris Veal sat on the sofa eating cake. As the Holy Grail, she had a premonition that the next battle would become very intense. She wanted to enjoy the only time left. Jiang Nan came to Iris Veal with a faint smile on his face. Madam, let's go find Imiyaka Ritsugu together. Iris Veal was stunned and seemed a little dazed and at a loss. Isn't this your wish? Do not impose on others what you do not want others to do to you. I do not like to impose my ideas on others, and I will not interfere with other people's choices. So, madam, do you want to go with me? The battle between the knights has not ended yet. Iris Veal naturally knew the battle that Jiang Nan was talking about. Is the war about to begin? Jiang Nan dialed the phone without hesitation. Soon Imiyaka Ritsugu answered the phone. Moses, is this the partner of Justice Imiyaka Ritsugu? Hearing the familiar voice, Imiyaka Ritsugu frowned. What's the matter? Let's fight. The last battle between the knights was not over because it was interrupted. I think King Arthur should also want to continue this battle. Come on. Choose a place to fight. If you win, I will return Iris Veal to you. Saber was standing next to Imiyaka Ritsugu. Saber also heard what Jiang Nan said. She was still upset about Iris Veal being kidnapped last time. Leave it to me, master. Imiyaka Ritsugu was silent for a moment and then nodded. It seemed that there was no better choice. Okay. The battle between the knights began again. After agreeing on a location, Jiang Nan drove a bus and took everyone to the agreed location. Several birds were flying in the sky. These were familiars of different forces, and assassins were also monitoring the bus around. This battle between the knights will become the fuse of the war and detonate all the battles. The agreed location is a relatively remote village. The village has been deserted. As a battle location, it is perfect. Passing through the city, Jiang Nan quickly brought everyone to the agreed location. Imiyaka Ritsugu had been waiting here for a long time. Saber was wearing a silver armor and holding the invisible sword on his chest, which was extremely majestic. A black figure slowly appeared, holding the indestructible lake light. Arthur. Lancelot fell into a state of rage the moment he saw King Arthur. Jiang Nan took out a long sofa, a table, and a lot of snacks from the void. The show is about to begin. And at this moment, thunder rioted. Roar. Ryder came here driving the bull of heaven. Ryder, do you still want to disrupt this duel between the knights? Saber subconsciously asked loudly after seeing Ryder. No, I will not intervene this time. I'm just a spectator this time. Then Ryder brought his master to Jiang Nan and then sat on the sofa next to him enthusiastically. Chapter 343, Sword and Magic. Arthur. Lancelot roared and rushed towards Saber. The indestructible lake light and the sword of promised victory collided with each other. The battle between the heroic spirits was fierce. No one would intervene in the duel between the knights this time. But now it is the fourth day. Some people can't wait any longer. No one intervened in the battle between the knights, but the battles between others may not be the same. A figure slowly walked in the dark, holding a spear in his hand. The person coming was Lancer. Kenneth was paralyzed after being hit by the origin bullet, and Lancer's master became Kenneth's fiancé. Lancer is really good at this cuckold attribute. He cheated on his own grandmaster when he was alive. After becoming a heroic spirit, he cheated on his own master. It seems that I came late. Lancer smiled lightly and looked at the battle that had already started in the distance. Lancer, are you here to fight? If you want to take advantage of others, I will stop you. Ryder stood up and said, "Don't worry, it's a fair fight between them. My pride won't allow me to intervene, but you may not." Lancer pointed his gun directly at the people sitting on the sofa. Ryder nodded with satisfaction. "I see. Now half of the time has passed, and it's time to fight. Lancer, let me be your opponent. I also want to try out the legendary chief warrior of the Irish Fianna Knights, the Face of Glory, who is known as unparalleled in the world. Diamudodinab, the Face of Glory. How strong is he?" Ryder also got excited. After all, there is only one winner in this war. As a conqueror king, Ryder's wishes to conquer the world, but he has to start with a body. Compared with the result, he enjoys the process of conquering and torturing more. Ryder's essence is that the heroic spirit cannot stay in this world for a long time. Only with a physical body can he live in the world forever. Are we going to fight? But Ryder, how about changing the opponent? For example, assassin. Jiang Nan said with a smile. The next second, the assassins hiding around showed their true colors. Hassan of 100 faces. And there is more than one. Assassins have the ability to isolate breath, but this ability was forcibly interrupted by Jiang Nan at this moment. When the snipe and the clam quarrel, the fisherman benefits. They may not intervene in the battle between the two knights, but they all want to be the fisherman. The assassin class is undoubtedly the easiest to become the fisherman. When all the battles are over, assassin can take action. After a battle, whether it is a servant or a master, the magic power in the body is definitely consumed a lot. At that time, assassin will attack directly as the sixth, and maybe he can kill everyone in one fell swoop. A huge black shadow suddenly enveloped the sky. It was a ship flying in the sky, with beautiful wings on both sides of the ship. That is the treasure Vimana. The throne of the king held by Gilgamesh is also a light ship formed by gold and emeralds that can soar in the sky. Through the solar crystal fueled by Mercury, the solar energy used for driving is generated, and it can ignore the laws of physics and fly at high speed. It has powerful attack power, equipped with various treasure systems and even equipped with excellent weapons such as ancient nuclear warheads. Gilgamesh sat on the throne and watched the battle between the knights below. "Please make me happy. Let me see what your ending is." Shichen stood beside the throne respectfully like a servant. It seems that this battle really attracted a lot of people, whether they were watching the excitement or preparing to take action. Now this place is becoming more and more dangerous. Jiang Nan looked at the chaotic situation and smiled. This is fun. The assassins around took out their weapons and looked at everyone with greedy eyes. Even if the assassins are weak, they are still heroic spirits, and they are not comparable to ordinary masters. Jiang Nan looked at the knights who were still fighting in the distance and said, "Ryder, how about stretching your muscles? Assassin will be left to you. Your king's army is just enough to fight against more." Ryder looked at the dozen assassins around and nodded. "Then Lancer will be left to you." The second and third battles also began. Judging from the results, whether the final outcome of these three battles is victory or defeat, Gilgamesh in the sky can become the winner. But is this really the case? Gilgamesh has his pride, but Shichen is a guy who will do anything to win. "Xiaohei, Lancer is in your hands." Jiang Nan touched Xiaohei's little head and said, "Okay. This is a real heroic spirit. Let me see how strong it is." Xiaohei put on the magic dress and came to Lancer. Lancer looked at the child in front of him who was only about 10 years old, and the gun in his hand sank unconsciously. Although they are all heroic spirits, Lancer does not want a 10-year-old child to be his opponent. He has his pride. "Little sister, even if it is you, I will not show mercy. In order to make my master win, I will do my best." Xiaohei wore a faint smile on his face, like an innocent child. The double swords appeared in his hands. "Brother, you don't think you can win, right? I'm very strong." Lancer helplessly relaxed his shoulders. It seems that this battle is inevitable. But even so, Lancer will go all out. "Little sister, let's change the battle location." "No problem." Then Xiaohei and Lancer went to the distant jungle. In the jungle, Xiaohei, as an archer, can better exert his strength. Ryder raised the sword in his hand. Then he launched the king's army against Assassin without hesitation. Matao Kiriyama was originally observing the battle of his heroic spirit Lancelot, but suddenly he felt something and ran out like crazy. There is only one person who can make Matao Kiriyama so crazy. Shichen. A father who pushed Sakura into hell. In Matao Kiriya's eyes, Shichen is the source of all mistakes. Jiangnan looked at Matao Kiriya who ran away, and a smile appeared on his lips. 4 days of devilish training have given Matao Kiriya a certain attack power. Even if Shichen is a powerful magician, if he is not careful, he will be beheaded by Matao Kiriya with a sword. Sword and magic. It must be a very interesting development. Matao Kiriya ran away quickly, holding a steel knife in his hand. It was the steel knife he used when he was training his sword skills. Although it was just an ordinary weapon, the steel inside made this ordinary weapon extremely sharp. Jiangnan poured the iced fat house happy water into the high-heeled glass. Then he shook it gracefully and gently touched the back that was about to disappear. I wish you good luck, and your martial arts luck will flourish. After saying that, he drank it all. Chapter 344, Sword and Power. Matao Kiriya's eyes were filled with flames of anger. All the disasters he had experienced, everything Sakura had experienced. The source of everything was because of this irresponsible father. Takito stood on a tall building, his eyes full of anger. Just now, Takito asked Gilgamesh to use EA to kill everyone directly. As a result, Gilgamesh laughed at him. Takito had no choice but to go down himself. He couldn't beat the heroic spirit, but could he beat the master? Takito had absolute confidence. On the abandoned tall building, Takito leaned on his magic wand and quietly looked at the forest in the distance. There were shocking explosions in the forest. There were also clanging sounds of fighting. That was the battlefield between Kuro and Lancer. Lancer never dreamed that Kuro, who was coming as an archer, actually had a close combat ability that could rival a gunmail. This was cheating. Then the sound of hurried footsteps came from behind Takito. Takito turned his head slightly. Are you here after all? Matao Kiriya, dressed in black and with pale hair, came here holding a steel knife. His eyes were full of anger. As expected, you have no talent. Why do you want to participate in this Holy Grail war? Shichen asked condescendingly. Many magicians do not take the lives of ordinary people seriously. Because the lives of ordinary people are just materials in the eyes of magicians. Why? Matao Kiriya saw Shichen's elegant appearance, and his anger became even greater. Shichen stood here elegantly, while his daughter Sakura was being tortured madly. Everything was Shichen's fault. Why? Shichen said that he did not understand what Matao Kiriya meant by what he said. Why did you hand Sakura over to that guy? After Shichen understood Matao Kiriya's questioning, he did not realize his mistake at all. Is this something you should care about now? Answer me, bastard. Matao Kiriya roared angrily. Shichen felt that he was not wrong. A person's 3 views are different from those of a magician. I did this just to hope that Sakura can have a happy future. Matao Kiriya had a face full of question marks. A happy future, with the body occupied by old bugs, transformed by dirty bugs, personality even collapsed, like a walking corpse in the bug nest, and even losing oneself in the end. Can such a future be called happy? Are you kidding? Matao Kiriya felt that he was really crazy, or the world was crazy. My 2 children both have very high magic talents, which makes me very distressed. I can only choose one to inherit my mantle. I don't want Sakura's talent to be buried, that's all. Tokishi said very calmly. Then do you know what Sakura has become? As a father, don't you care about this daughter? Matao Kiriya questioned. He questioned whether Tokishi really fulfilled the obligations that a father should do. I believe Sakura will live a good life. Tokishi still spoke calmly. Since he had already sent his daughter away, there was no need to keep anything. All he knew was that Sakura was not in the Tosaka family. In Shichen's impression, the magic used by the Matao family was still butterfly magic. It was a very beautiful magic, but it was a pity that he never cared about his daughter after sending her away. I don't know how the Matao family has fallen to the extreme now. I don't know what kind of torture Sakura has suffered. In the final analysis, Shichen is just an irresponsible father. Rintausaka has 5 attributes, and Sakura has imaginary attributes. Shichen just chose Rintausaka. Ha 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 ha. Matao Kiriya laughed wildly, with tears sliding in the corners of his eyes. His other hand was already on the hilt of the knife. It was such an irresponsible father who made Sakura suffer such treatment. You bastard. Matao Kirihaya directly pulled out the steel knife in his hand. Shichen saw this scene with disdain in his eyes. As a gem magician, he really looked down on this kind of behavior of drawing a sword. And from the beginning to the end, he didn't think he did anything wrong. There is a big difference between the values of ordinary people and magicians. The sun breathing technique is activated. After only 4 days of learning, Matao Kirihaya was unable to replace the breathing method with his normal breathing. Even after undergoing devilish training, he only learned a little bit. Matao Kirihaya breathed regularly. A trace of red flame appeared at the corner of his mouth. A thin layer of flames was also wrapped around the steel knife. This is the unique sword momentum of the sun breathing. What is sword momentum? When the swordsmanship reaches a certain level, it can be condensed. This is an invisible momentum. Some ancient martial arts masters would observe the hunting movements of animals to create different Zingai boxing methods. For example, the crane fist, snake fist, and tiger fist. Practice the form first, and then practice the momentum. When practicing the fist momentum, every move and every style of the Zingai boxing seems to be really hunting. Matao Kirihaya was panting, and the air around him entered his lungs. Shichen frowned when he saw this scene. He actually felt the danger at this moment, and the seemingly real but virtual flame sword momentum was like a sun. The sword force was originally virtual, but after Jigo Yuan cultivated immortality, this virtuality became real. The sun breathing method that Jiangnan taught Jiantang Yan is the martial arts of a cultivation version. Sun breathing 7th form Yanghua 2. Jiantang Yan exerted force on his feet and rushed towards Shichen in an instant, with the steel knife in his hand pointing directly at Shichen's throat. There was some astonishment in Shichen's eyes, but there was no fear. Flames appeared around, forming a semicircular flame barrier. Then Shichen tapped the floor lightly with his cane, and in just a moment, countless fireballs rushed towards Jiantang Yan. Jiantang Yan swung his knife to split the flame barrier, but in just a moment, the flame barrier closed again, and all the surrounding flames rushed towards him. Jiantang Yan felt the scorching temperature around him, exerted force on his feet, and immediately retreated. The flames exploded, and the flames shot up into the sky. The scorching temperature continued to echo around. A few flames splashed on Jiantang Yan's body. Matao Kirihaya was just a mortal after all, and he would die if he was hit by Shichen's flames. You are too weak. Is this the extent to which people betray magic? Shichen's tone was full of disdain, and he picked up the magic wand in his hand. There was a huge red gem on the top of the magic wand. Shichen drew a circle in the air with the magic wand, and a flame magic circle appeared instantly. Circles of flames lingered around the magic circle. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 345, Determination to Die. There was no fear in Matao Kirihaya's eyes, and the sporadic flames on his body went out. A strong person is not only strong in strength, but also in mind. The terrifying devil training gave Matao Kirihaya a heart to protect everything. It's all your fault for Shichen. Matao Kirihaya roared angrily, and sometimes fear would be drowned by anger. He rushed forward again, and the steel knife in his hand swung a huge ring. Sun breathing one form round dance. The blade instantly made an arc-shaped slash, and the knife light was as fast as lightning, faster than the ordinary samurai's sword slash. Matao Kirihaya broke through the limit of his body at this moment. His own body has been transformed by insect magic, and can adapt to magic, so his body is stronger than ordinary people. The red lotus planted by Jiangnan in his heart provides him with a constant supply of power. Matao Kirihaya is also a man with a plug-in. The red knife light flashed with flames, and chopped the flame barrier. Matao Kirihaya stabbed directly at Shichen's throat. However, it was blocked by the invisible barrier. It was an invisible wall, which seemed to have a blazing temperature. The surrounding fireballs turned into long snakes, and rushed towards Matao Kirihaya. Matao Kirihaya swung his sword quickly without hesitation, and slashed out 3 times in an instant. Compared with Tsujikoku Yoshiichi, who could slash out thousands of slashes in an instant, these 3 slashes were too weak. The 3 slashes split the fire snakes and temporarily blocked the attack. Shichen saw this scene and just shook his head, and then something surprised him the next moment. Matao Kiryu raised the steel knife in his hand high, and dropped it instantly. The invisible flame barrier had a few cracks. Matao Kiryu was waiting for this opportunity. If the magician was approached, he would be easily killed by the warrior. Matao Kiryu held the sword with both hands, and stabbed forward directly. The tip of the sword passed through the crack, and rushed directly to Shichen's head. At this critical moment, Shichen subconsciously twisted his head. The blade brushed his face and stabbed backwards. Blood appeared on Shichen's cheek. Giant Tong Yanai held the knife, and tried to push forward, but was stuck by the barrier, and finally could only draw the knife and retreat. Yayi, you are stronger than I thought, but that's all. Shichen waved the cane in his hand, and began to chant. Give my enemy a cruel cremation. When Shichen was about to release the fire attack, Giant Tong Yanai had come to him without knowing when. Jiang Nan once said that the magician's methods were too boring, and he had to chant before fighting. The magician was the weakest when chanting. At this time, you can launch a sneak attack. Kill him while he is sick. Giant Tong Yanai remembered Jiang Nan's advice in his heart. In order to win, it is reasonable to use some despicable means occasionally. Shichen didn't seem to expect that the speed displayed by Giant Tong Yanai at this time would be so fast. This speed is simply not something that ordinary humans can show. Godspeed, draw the sword and slash. Draw the sword and slash is the most basic sword technique learned by every swordsman. This is a sword technique that combines strength and scabbard. Flames spurted out, and Matao Kiryu continued to attack without fear. The flames burned his body, and the pain stimulated Matao Kiryu's brain. But his sword did not slow down. The slash was completed in 0.1 seconds. A head flew high. The breathing of the sun was originally used to kill ghosts, and ghosts would die only after their heads were chopped off. Therefore, many sword skills are about beheading, and beheading is also useful for humans. Time seemed to be frozen at this moment. Bang! The head that jumped high fell to the ground. Before Shichen died, his eyes were extremely empty, as if he didn't believe that he would die just like that. Then blood gushed out. Countless blood splashed on Matao Kiryu's clothes covered by flames. Ha ha ha. Matao Kiryu laughed, and the pain could not cover up his excitement and happiness. Shichen, the bastard, is finally dead. Bang! The headless body fell to the ground. The winner of this battle is Matao Kiryu. The abandoned village was broken into pieces and turned into ruins because of the battle between the two knights. Arthur. Lancelot roared madly. Saber swung his sword and attacked, and the two sides kept fighting. The terrifying sword energy kept echoing around, cutting everything around. Saber's eyes were full of pain, but she remembered her wish. She couldn't lose here. Only the Holy Grail could make her wish to save her partner. She wanted to save everything, save her former partner, and save Lancelot in front of her. Lancelot raised his sword high in his hand, and the undestroyed lake light was swung wildly by him, slashing wildly like a knife. The sword without any rules seemed to be venting the anger in his heart. It seemed to be provoking Saber. Lancelot's wish was that his king could personally kill him, the traitor. He was atonement. Saber seized the floor, and the invisible sword in his hand instantly pierced Lancelot's body. Piercing the heart, Lancelot's body stiffened. Death came. The undestroyed lake light fell to the ground. Even so, I must obtain the Holy Grail. If I don't, I won't be able to compensate you at all. Lancelot fell on Saber's body. Before he died, his sanity returned. King, are you still holding up your sword for this reason? Lancelot's tone was filled with endless sadness. His king was too perfect. Even at this moment, he was still so noble. Even when facing a traitor like him. It's over, king. Lancelot fell down and never lived again. Berserker Lancelot left the stage. In the blazing desert, behind the king of conquerors were tens of thousands of warriors, all of whom were heroic spirits. A normal Holy Grail war is 7 versus 7, with 7 heroic spirits fighting each other. But the king of conquerors was unreasonable and directly summoned his own army. If it weren't for Gilgamesh, the king of conquerors might have been the most powerful heroic spirit in this Holy Grail war. Assassin didn't even have a chance to resist facing tens of thousands of troops. Crush them. Ryder raised his weapon high and charged towards Assassin. Countless arrows rained down, and several assassins were shot dead instantly. At this moment, they didn't even have the ability to escape. No one could escape in this inherent barrier. What followed was torture. The assassins were pierced through the body by countless soldiers with spears, and then torn apart. They were surrounded and killed, and their heads were chopped off. The might of the king's army is not just a simple talk. Tens of thousands of troops killed assassin with an absolute advantage. The assassin withdrew from this Holy Grail war. After killing assassin, Rider withdrew his inherent barrier. The battle on his side was over, but the battle on the other side continued. Chapter 346, Little Thief. A guest came from Vimana. Xiao Yan tore open the space and stepped onto this spaceship. Gilgamesh looked at the uninvited guest coldly. Did I allow you to set foot here, you idiot? Gilgamesh was as arrogant as ever. Xiao Yan just smiled, as if nothing could scare him. Hero King Gilgamesh, you really make people want to beat you to death at this time. If the virtuous king and young Shan were here, they would probably come up and fight with you. Gilgamesh's eyes were full of disdain. At this moment, he was a tyrant. With the blood of gods, he could not empathize with humans at all, and did not understand what a virtuous king was. For the tyrant Gilgamesh, everything should submit to him. You idiot, you are more interesting than I thought, but that's all. Two axes appeared in the golden ripples and shot directly at Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan smiled lightly. Really? Don't fight me. For me, things that can be solved by hand are always simple things. It would be boring to kill everyone at once. After all, my main purpose of participating in this Holy Grail war is to have fun. The two treasures automatically deviated from the track when they were about to hit Xiao Yan and flew away. Gilgamesh frowned when he saw this scene. World protection. Some powerful heroes will have the blessing of the world. These blessings are blessings at the rule level. For example, they will never be hit head on. This world does not want Xiao Yan to get hurt because it does not want to be destroyed. It's just that this world does not want me to get hurt because he doesn't know what I will do when I get angry. But Hero King, I do have a purpose for coming here. Can you give me your Holy Grail? Xiao Yan stretched out his hand to Gilgamesh to ask for the Holy Grail without any embarrassment. Gilgamesh's king's treasure contains all the treasures in the world. In this Holy Grail war, the real Holy Grail is only the Holy Grail and the king's treasure. So you're a little thief. You deserve to die for snooping into my treasure. A dozen golden ripples appeared, and the treasure floated behind Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was extremely arrogant, and at the same time extremely conceited and arrogant. He underestimated Xiao Yan. The next second, Xiao Yan came behind Gilgamesh, then reached out and took out a treasure from the golden ripples, and then reached into the ripples. Everything happened too fast. Gilgamesh had never expected this to happen. Then Xiao Yan pulled his hand back, and there was a Holy Grail in his hand. The omnipotent wishing machine Holy Grail. Done. Gilgamesh stared at the scene in a daze, and then fell into a state of rage. This was a complete slap in the face. He was too arrogant and conceited, and his king's treasure was stolen in front of him. As a proud king, what was the difference between stealing his treasure in front of Gilgamesh and stealing his wife from the bullhead? The answer is that there is almost no difference. You are looking for death. Thousands of golden ripples appeared, and all the treasures that appeared in them were A-level treasures. Such a number of A-level treasures made people panic. Summoning so many treasures also consumed a lot of magic power for Gilgamesh. Xiao Yan ignored the treasures in the sky and then threw the Holy Grail into his private storage space. Just when Gilgamesh's attack was about to fall, he suddenly seemed to feel something. Damn it, Shichen. Why did you die at this time? Damn Shichen, it's all your fault. At the same time, Matao Kiryu cut off Shichen's head. The relationship between the heroic spirit and the master is very close. The master will provide the heroic spirit with a constant supply of magic power. Once the master dies and can no longer provide magic power, the heroic spirit will gradually disappear and its strength will decrease. Gilgamesh can't launch thousands of attacks with A-level treasures at this moment because his master Shichen is already dead. Seeing this, Xiao Yan turned around and walked away. This was a naked mockery. Gilgamesh was almost furious. Damn time, why is it this time? Little girl, I recognize your martial arts. Lancer was covered in wounds at this moment. Xiao Hei had a smile on her face. With her infinite magic power, she almost defeated Lancer with a crushing attitude. "Lancer, this battle is over." The magic power gathered, and a red spear appeared in Xiao Yan's hand. The spear of piercing death thorns. The noble phantasm of Kuchulain, the son of light, who is a famous hero in the Ulster region of Northern Ireland. This is a surefire spear that can reverse cause and effect. Noble phantasm release. The red spear in Xiao Yan's hand exuded an extremely dangerous aura. "Little girl, you have a good master." Lancer's magic power was almost exhausted at this point in the battle. However, Xiao Yan has always been in his prime. The red spear burst out and directly penetrated Lancer's body. The spear of fate that reversed cause and effect could not be dodged. Lancer's fate of death was already determined at this moment. The red spear pierced his body. "It's over, Lancer. What a fair battle. I have no regrets, except that I couldn't help the monarch regain the Holy Grail." Lancer looked up at the sky and gradually disappeared from this world. Lancer left. On the 4th day of the Holy Grail War, 4 heroes had already left. Jiang Nan sat on the sofa and looked up at the sky. Gilgamesh drove away on Vimana. Ryder came over at this time. "Is this battle over? Do you want to play? I'm going to communicate with other kings." Jiang Nan shook the goblet elegantly and then drank the fat house happy water in it. "I won't go. After all, my current identity is not suitable to appear in front of that person." Jiang Nan just stole someone's holy grail and ran to their 3 kings gathering. This is a rhythm of seeking death. Ryder scratched his head. Okay. The battle is over, and it's time for me to leave." Waver looked at Jiang Nan with some fear. Jiang Nan waved at him. "This future monarch is quite talented. He can gain a lot from participating in this Holy Grail War." Ryder nodded and left with his master. Then Xiao Yan came over from a distance. Jiang Nan waved happily. "I knew you would win. The opponent is still very powerful. If it weren't for the infinite magic power provided by you, brother Jiang Nan, I might not win." Waited for a while. Matao Kiriyaya, covered in blood, came over. There were many burn marks on his skin, but even so, it still couldn't hide the smile on his lips. Chapter 347. Death is like the wind. After Gilgamesh returned, he signed a contract with Kotomin Kairi. One lost his servant, and the other lost his master. The two hit it off immediately, and the joyful duo was launched. Kotomin Kairi killed Takito's wife, the teacher's widow, Aoi Tosaka, that night. He used a dagger, a gift from his teacher. Killing his teacher's widow in violation of morality made Kotomin Kairi feel a perverted pleasure. For more pleasure, Kotomin Kairi also gave the dagger to Tosaka, who was only 7 or 8 years old. Let her child hold the weapon that killed her mother, and she also regarded this weapon as a treasure. Kotomin Kairi felt very happy every time he saw this scene. The 4th day passed like this. Gilgamesh did not come to cause trouble. In this way, time came to the last day. During these 2 days, Matao Kiriyaya withdrew from the Holy Grail War because of the death of his servant and took Sakura away from the Fuuki city that was about to be nuclearized. They are going to a place where they are not known and start their lives again. Before Jiang Nan sent the 2 people on the plane, he told Matao Kiriyaya not to forget to train. Practicing martial arts is like sailing against the current. If you don't advance, you will retreat. Matao Kiriyaya said that he finally had the power to protect Sakura, so how could he give up so easily? In this way, the 2 boarded the plane and left the city. Sakura has gradually returned to her former appearance in the past few days. Although her eyes are still a little empty, she has the happiness that a child should have. This is a good start. After sending the 2 people away, Jiang Nan seemed to sense something. "Let's go. Everything ends here. Let us witness the final tragedy and the end of the righteous partner." Iris Veil is a doll, a carrier of the Holy Grail. But she has her own ideas and choices. She convinced her 2 children and made her own choice. If Iris Veil doesn't want to die, Jiang Nan doesn't mind helping her. But there is no if. For Imiyaka Itsugu's wish to save all mankind, Iris Veil unconditionally supports her husband, even if this path leads to death. She is willing to become the Holy Grail, just like the original burn. The night is getting darker. At the same time, the final battle of the Holy Grail War is about to begin. As the 8th person to join this 7-person battle. Jiang Nan stood in the distance to watch the show. Save Fuaoki City. Sorry, it is well known that this city with a good life often has gas leaks. Anyway, everything was done by Kiritsugui Miya. Jiang Nan gave them a choice. In the end, they all chose the most wrong way. It can only be said that everything is fate. The righteous partners are strangers at this moment. Jiang Nan stood on the roof of the tallest building in the city, overlooking the brightly lit city. Soon, the city will turn into a sea of fire. It's so beautiful. I guess it will be more beautiful in the flames. Li Hualang said that he just wanted to get to know his family, father-in-law, and mother-in-law better. The battle on the other side has begun. The King of Heroes and the King of Conquerors began to fight. Kiritsugui Miya is ready to kill Kotomin Kairi. Saber is watching Jiang Nan. Jiang Nan is sitting on the roof with 2 cute little lollies. Elia looked at the distance with some worry, where the magic power was surging. Brother Jiang Nan, can Ziohei really win this Holy Grail war? Of course, I'm here. Jiang Nan said with a smile. The reason for saying this is that the Holy Grail is now in his hand. He has already won this Holy Grail war. The light was gathering, and Saber appeared behind Jiang Nan. Knights will not attack by surprise. Saber, haven't you given up your pathetic wish yet? Having come this far, I must get the Holy Grail. Saber's eyes were full of seriousness. It was the last night, and it was impossible for her to withdraw. Okay, I hope you won't cry too much later. Jiang Nan continued to look into the distance, admiring the last scenery. Saber was not in a hurry to take action, because her mission was just to monitor them. Tyrants fighting tyrants, the king's treasure fighting the king's army, the conqueror king fighting the hero king. The inherent barrier unfolded. The blazing desert, the endless army, the king's army, using the human wave tactics, is difficult for any hero to resist. But the King of Heroes has a treasure against the world. Ryder drove the god wheel and pointed the long sword in his hand forward. Then he roared loudly. The enemy is the King of Heroes who is worthy of 10,000 men. It is enough for us to use all our strength. Warriors, show our dominance. Crushing him, Ryder waved the sword in his hand. All troops attack. The soldiers formed a square formation and launched an attack. The enemy was only one person, but one person could defeat 10,000 troops. Gilgamesh smiled at the endless soldiers in the distance. Come on. Lord of the Overlord, you are about to see what a true king is? At some point, a golden key appeared in Gilgamesh's hand. This is the key to the treasury of the king's treasure. Gilgamesh gently twisted the golden key. Countless red lines continued to grow upwards like a big tree, extending countless lines. Then a strange cylindrical long sword appeared in Gilgamesh's hand. The star of the opening of the separation of heaven and earth. An X-class noble phantasm, a powerful weapon with the ability to attack boundaries. A sword known as splitting the world. It's time to end your dream. It's time to wake up. The sword of separation EA slowly began to spin. Charge. Ryder roared fearlessly. Gilgamesh smiled with arrogance and confidence. Then the endless red beams of light tore through everything. The terrifying magic power directly destroyed the inherent barrier. The endless desert was split in half. All the heroic spirits and soldiers were destroyed by the endless red beams of light. The final result was already determined at this moment. When Gilgamesh used the sword of separation EA to penetrate Ryder's body, the battle was over. Before he died, Ryder had a satisfied smile on his face. He was very satisfied with this Holy Grail. Even if he failed, what would it matter? Dying on the road to his dream was also a kind of satisfaction. Although Waver was a little sad, as a minister, he felt that the King of Conquerors had no regrets at this time. Gilgamesh was too lazy to kill a weak master. As long as he behaved honestly, it would be fine. At this moment, Gilgamesh sensed a familiar breath. Damn you little thief, how dare you appear before me? Gilgamesh roared angrily, and the sword EA in his hand turned again. The red beam of light rushed directly towards Jiang Nan, who had just walked out of the void. Chapter 348, Heartfelt Words. The terrifying magic power swept around, turning everything around into ruins. The destructive power of the sword of separation EA is extremely terrifying. Even Saber, who released the noble phantasm and the sword of promised victory, could not block this attack. Facing the fierce red light column, Jiang Nan just calmly stretched out his hand. Behind him were Ziohei, Elia and Saber. Facing the sudden attack, even Saber did not react. Then they witnessed an incredible scene. Jiang Nan's hand was like an indestructible wall that directly blocked the fierce red light column. The red light column kept hitting Jiang Nan's casually raised hand like a wave. However, this endless wave did not shake this hand at all. The magic power dissipated, and the surroundings turned into a ruin. The three people hiding behind Jiang Nan were not hurt at all. Weber was shocked when he saw this scene. What did I see? What did I see? In the battle between kings, Weber saw the terrifying power of the Sword of Separation EA with his own eyes. The inherent barrier was torn apart in an instant, destroying the king's army of the Conqueror. In Weber's eyes, the King of Heroes was invincible, and the power released by the sword in his hand was even more irresistible. However, at this moment, the power released by the Sword of Separation EA was blocked by a hand, and it seemed that the hand did not even have a scratch. Does this make the King of Conquerors look too rubbish? Weber's three views were shattered at this time. Everyone looked at Jiang Nan, who always had a faint smile on his face, in shock. That's it. That's your shocked expression. I like it so much. I really like it. It's worth it for me to prepare for this show off for so long. Jiang Nan covered his face with one hand, twisted his body, and once again posed in a JoJo pose. There is no harm without comparison. How strong is the King of Conquerors? With the king's army, he can be said to have crushed a large number of heroic spirits. However, such a powerful existence was easily killed by Gilgamesh. Then the powerful attack that could kill Ryder could not hurt Jiang Nan, the master. There are indeed masters who can fight against heroic spirits, but there is absolutely no master who can crush heroic spirits in this way. Gilgamesh's face turned very ugly. You are more hateful than I thought. Jiang Nan's twisted body slowly returned to normal, and a wicked smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Mr. Jin Shanshan, the enthusiastic citizen, I want to tell you something from the bottom of my heart. Jiang Nan snapped his fingers lightly. Time fell into a standstill at this moment. However, people's consciousness did not fall into a standstill. Jiang Nan slowly walked towards Gilgamesh. Everything in the world where time stopped was so quiet, only Jiang Nan's footsteps were so conspicuous. Da da da. Jiang Nan came to Gilgamesh and stretched out his hand. The slender and beautiful fingers easily pierced Gilgamesh's golden armor, then pierced his body, and held his heart. With a slight force, he pulled out the bloody heart directly. Then he crushed it in front of everyone. Can a person live without a heart? Time starts to flow. Jiang Nan snapped his fingers again. Ahem. Gilgamesh suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. The enthusiastic citizen Jin Shanshan, who likes to speak heart to heart with others, was betrayed by others today. The one who betrays others will eventually be betrayed. Miscellaneous cultivator. Gilgamesh only said these two words before disappearing. At this time, everyone's face was filled with incredible expressions. This is a heroic spirit. And it is the hero King Gilgamesh. Now he died like this. He was betrayed so simply. It's incredible. I didn't expect that there are such strong people in this world. At this moment, Weaver seemed to think of something and asked a question. Excuse me, have you reached the root? The root is the truth, the ultimate goal pursued by all magicians in the Type Moon world. That, I should be above that. Jiang Nan said with a smile. Weaver's pupils shrank. He didn't expect that the 8th team of contestants who joined the Holy Grail War in the middle of this time would be such a terrifying and powerful existence. If the 8th team is not counted, the winner at this time is undoubtedly Saber. Saber looked at Jiang Nan vigilantly. The sword in her hand was ready to attack at any time. This is the last battle. If she can win, she can get the Holy Grail. Even after seeing how powerful Jiang Nan is, Saber is still unwilling to give up. It's just a little bit. How can she let people give up? It's like Pinzixi has reached 99.99%. How can she give up? Jiang Nan just said with a smile. Saber, give up. If it's just like this, everything will end. Are you kidding? How could Saber give up? How could she stop here? She wants to save the destroyed kingdom and save her dead companions. Jiang Nan looked at Saber's resolute eyes and knew that she would never give up. Saber, if this is your choice, then I will respect you. In fact, there is no need for us to fight. Saber, you have already won. We are the servants and masters of the extracurricular 8th team. We don't need to participate in the Holy Grail ceremony. Saber's Holy Grail has been completed. What do you mean? Saber asked. What I mean is that the winner of this Holy Grail war is you, Saber. We are the ones who violated the rules. Unless I kill you, I can't make a wish. But I don't want to kill you. My goal has been achieved. You should feel it. The call of the Holy Grail is just ahead. Jiangnan stretched out his hand and pointed to the church in the distance. That was where the referee lived. Saber looked over with a feeling. The Holy Grail ceremony has been completed. And the Holy Grail responded to her. Jiangnan was right. She and Emiya Kiritsugu are the winners of this Holy Grail war. Saber looked at the place where the magic power came from in the distance. It was like a beam of light in the darkness. Saber turned around and ran towards it without hesitation. Waver looked at Jiangnan in confusion. Why? That's the omnipotent wish-granting machine, the Holy Grail. Alas. Jiangnan sighed helplessly. Then he spoke. Hell is ahead. This was Saber's choice. She rushed to the church quickly. The physique of a heroic spirit made her faster than the cars on the road. Getting closer and closer. The terrifying magic power became clearer and clearer. The almighty wishing machine, the Holy Grail, is inside the church. Saber's eyes are full of excitement. Even if her ideal is tonight, she will realize it. She wants to save everything. Pushing open the door of the church, Saber keeps moving forward following the guidance of the Holy Grail. She seems to have seen her dead companions waving at her. The once pure Knight Lancelet is still so outstanding. However, as Jiangnan said, the hell is ahead. Chapter 349, Wish. As a magician killer, Kiritsugu Emiya is extremely powerful and excellent. After a hard battle, he successfully shot through Kotomin Kairo's heart. At the same time, he was pulled into the interior of the Holy Grail by the evil of this world that overflowed from the Holy Grail. When Kiritsugu Emiya woke up again, it was at the seaside at night. The dead puppet who turned into the Holy Grail, his wife Irisville, stood not far from him. You are finally here, Kiritsugu. I knew you would definitely win. Irisville turned around with a gentle smile on her face. She loved Kiritsugu Emiya as usual. Where is this? Kiritsugu Emiya only remembered that he had just killed Kiritsugu Kotomin Kairi, and then he was submerged by the black substance. This is the interior of the Holy Grail, where wishes can be fulfilled. Irisville explained. Kiritsugu Emiya raised his head slightly, and a black sun in the sky exuded red evil power. This place is full of malice and curses. Kiritsugu, you can make a wish to it. Only in this way can it descend to the outside world. Kiritsugu Emiya opened his mouth, but could not express his wish to save all mankind. Because the sun in the sky radiates evil power, no matter how you look at it, it is impossible for all mankind to have peace. Who are you? Emiya Kiritsugu asked Irisville this question. Irisville had a smile on her face. I'm Irisville. No, if the Holy Grail is complete. Emiya Kiritsugu's face was very complicated. What follows is a very philosophical Holy Grail question and answer. Just like the trolley problem. Whether to choose to save the majority and sacrifice the minority. In the choice again and again, Emiya Kiritsugu kept killing and killing. In the end, there were only two people left in the world. Irisville and Elia. In this way, the ideal world in Emiya Kiritsugu's heart, world peace, was achieved. The way for the Black Holy Grail to realize the wish for world peace is to kill everyone. Emiya Kiritsugu stared blankly at his bloody hands. This is the end of the justice partner. Kill a few people every time to save the majority. But if you keep killing, you will find that the whole world will die because of your justice. Come and make a wish. Kiritsugu. Irisville's eyes were full of hope. The Holy Grail showed the bloody end of the justice partners. If Kiritsugu Emiya continued to choose this sad wish, then the world's human beings would be doomed. After Kiritsugu Emiya learned all this, his eyes revealed endless collapse and destruction. He was just a person, with human emotions and desires. In the end, he killed his daughter and wife with his own hands, and collapsed from the Holy Grail. He remembered the end of the Justice Partners, that Jiangnan had told him. Now a new choice is in front of him. The trolley problem appeared again. A city and the people of the world. Please make a choice. When Saber came to the church, she saw the golden Holy Grail on the table. How beautiful. This is the universal wishing machine that can fulfill wishes. Pa pa pa. Applause suddenly rang out. Jiangnan sat on the chair in the church without knowing when. He clapped softly. He chanted in his mouth. Congratulations. Xiao Hei, Illa, and Weber also clapped. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Saber slowly walked towards the Holy Grail amid the voices of celebration. At this moment, Emiya Kiritsugu's voice rang out. After realizing the horror of the Holy Grail, he decided to destroy it. Command the command seal. Saber releases the noble phantasm and destroys the Holy Grail. Saber froze in her place. She never expected that Emiya Kiritsugu would give such an order at this time. Jiangnan looked at Saber's expression with pleasure as her excitement turned into pain. Second spell. Command the command seal. Saber releases the noble phantasm and destroys the Holy Grail. No. Saber roared madly, but her noble phantasm, the sword of promised victory, had already emitted a dazzling light. Golden magic power condensed on the long sword. Saber raised the long sword in her hand high, which was emitting a dazzling light. Pain, collapse, hatred. Saber hated Emiya Kiritsugu immensely at this moment. One spell was enough to force a servant to do one thing. And with two spells, Saber could not resist at all. Why? Why you? Saber roared madly, but the sword in her hand had been unsealed. A dazzling golden light shot up into the sky. Then a sword fell. The golden light penetrated everything. Under the light of the sword of promised victory, the Holy Grail was destroyed. The church was also reduced to ruins. After the Holy Grail was broken into pieces, Saber's existence disappeared. In the endless light, Saber recalled everything she had done in this Holy Grail. This may be a punishment for me, a king who does not understand human hearts. Emiya Kiritsugu looked at the destroyed Holy Grail and suddenly had a bad premonition. Looking up, a black sun appeared in the sky. That was the whole scene inside the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail appeared. Jiangnan appeared next to Emiya Kiritsugu. Emiya Kiritsugu, is this your choice? How great it would be if you had quit the war at that time. If you had quit and left Fuaoki City with Iris Veal, there wouldn't have been so many problems. All the people who died next were because of your choice, and you killed them with your subjective consciousness. Jiangnan said lightly, but a smile always appeared unconsciously at the corner of his mouth. The gears of fate are turning slowly. Partner of justice, it's time to pay the bill. Jiangnan waved his hand and took Xiao Hei and Elia away from this world. Countless black substances in the sky fell into Fuaoki City. Emiya Kiritsugu could only watch all this in despair. Watching Fuaoki City turn into a sea of fire. The world of magical girl Elia. Jiangnan stayed in the world of Fate/0 for 7 days, but in the world of magical girl Elia, it was only a moment. Everything is as usual. Jiangnan stretched out his hand and the golden Holy Grail appeared in his hand. This is the real Holy Grail. The real universal wishing machine. Xiao Hei, make a wish. Jiangnan handed the Holy Grail to Xiao Hei with a smile on his face. The moment the Holy Grail appeared here, many people felt that this extremely rich magic power was the absolute power that reached the root. The third method, the Heavenly Grail. Xiao Hei carefully took the Holy Grail, and the Holy Grail instantly established a connection with her. I wish to live forever. In an instant, the Holy Grail emitted a dazzling light. At this moment, Xiao Hei had a body and became a human. Her body can continuously produce magic power, just like a real human. Chapter 350. Go back. Jiangnan quickly said goodbye to Elia and returned to his own world. The daily world is always so peaceful. When Jiangnan went back to school, Shizuka Hiratsuka sighed helplessly. She had gradually become familiar with the routine of this problem child. Jiangnan came to his seat and looked at Kato Megumi, who seemed different from the past. Good morning. Hoo-hoo. Good morning. Kato Megumi smiled faintly. Jiangnan was stunned for a moment, then looked up and down at Kato Megumi. Hoo-hoo. Your hair seems to have grown longer. Kato Megumi gently stroked the hair on her forehead with her fingers. Time passed quite quickly. Unknowingly, Kato Megumi's short hair had completely grown into long hair. Don't you like it? How could that be? I like it very much. Jiangnan smiled widely. He never hesitated to give good compliments to girls, especially girls with whom he had a good relationship. Thank you. Jiangnan sat in his seat. Then, as usual, classes, and school were over. After arriving at the service club, Jiangnan still greeted everyone in a very cool way. Everyone was used to it. In this way, time passed by. Finally, they arrived at the campus festival. This is a unique celebration of the school, performing on stage, holding activities, or other things. When the campus holds a celebration, people from other schools will come to visit. It is considered a relatively important festival. In the classroom, the class monitor is planning the activities that the class should come up with for this campus celebration. The general directions of several activity plans are written on the big blackboard. For example, a cafe or a haunted house. Jiangnan looked at everyone who was filled with a youthful atmosphere with some boredom. Then he lay on the table and prepared to sleep. Anyway, it had nothing to do with him. Just after lying for a while, Jiangnan sensed danger. A big hand suddenly pinched his head. "You guy, you are sleeping at this time." Shizuka Hiratsuka, who was wearing a handsome teacher's uniform, frowned and looked extremely angry. Isn't this changing?" Shizuka Hiratsuka slowly let go of his hand. "It's okay, don't sleep all the time. You feel like an old man." "Don't say that. Jing, I prefer to be lazy sheep to Fiang Gyang. I live transparently and comfortably," Jiangnan said lazily. Shizuka Hiratsuka's eyebrows jumped when she heard it. Okay, I have something here that I want you to take a look at," Shizuka Hiratsuka said leisurely. "Okay, Jing, no problem, Jing, if you ask, I promise to complete the task. Okay, don't be glib." Then, Shizuka Hiratsuka roughly talked about some things about the campus celebration. "So you want me to help the student union? Okay. Of course there is no problem. I like them very much, and I don't know if they have any real progress recently," Jiangnan said with a happy face. If the group of people in the student union knew that I was coming to help, would they really let me help? Jiangnan couldn't help but think in his heart. Student union. An important place for Jiangnan to eat melons. On how to stay single when you are in love. The love between two dead tsundeers. Jiangnan was very happy every time he saw them. Oh, Spirassi. But the student union seemed a little quiet today. Jiangnan knocked on the door and walked in. The people he usually saw were not there today. There was only one strange girl. The strange girl was a little nervous when she saw someone coming. "Hello, the president and others are out. If you have anything, you can wait here for a while." The girl was very cute. There was a sense of seriousness when she spoke. Jiangnan had seen this girl before. She was the school's discipline committee member. She was also a new member of the student union. I know Miko. Her father was a judge of the Supreme Court and her mother was an employee of an international humanitarian aid organization. Her parents had a great influence on Inomiko. As a child born in such a family, Inomiko had a very strong sense of justice. Since she was a child, she took a zero-tolerance attitude towards the ugly phenomena in campus life, and therefore served as the campus discipline committee member since junior high school. "My name is Jiangnan, and Mr. Hiratsuka asked me to help." Inomiko frowned. Although the student union was a little different from what she imagined, it could solve most of the school's problems in general. It was just that the campus celebration seemed too busy this time, so she asked the teacher for help. Inomiko nodded. "My name is Inomiko. Please give me more advice." Jiangnan looked at the empty student union and asked. Do you know where the president and others went?" Inomiko shook her head, indicating that she didn't know. Inomiko, who had just joined the student union, seemed to have a bad impression of the student union for some reason. "I don't know, but they must be intimate somewhere." Jiangnan was slightly stunned. "Has it developed to this point during my absence? I don't believe it. I have to go and take a look." Jiangnan couldn't help but think in his heart, and then said, You seem to be waiting for the president and others. Why don't we go find them?" Inomiko was holding information in her hand, and it was obvious that she was also looking for the president. The school celebration is about to start, but the president and vice president disappeared during the busy time. This made the always strict Inomiko very upset. "But I didn't know the president and the others." "It's okay, I should know," Jiangnan said with a smile. Then the two of them started looking for the president and vice president together. In Xiao Yan's divine perception, the two were now in the sports storage warehouse. That was the place where the male and female protagonists in the comics often fought. It was just like the rooftop of the school. It was exciting enough. Walking on the road, it seemed that the atmosphere was a little awkward, and Xiao Yan spoke first. "Student II, you don't seem to have a very good impression of the president." Nomiko was silent for a moment, and then spoke. "It's just a little worse than I expected." Nomiko remembered that when she opened the door, the president and the vice president were doing that kind of thing, and even invited her to join. The school did not explicitly prohibit the relationship between male and female students, but morality still needs to be there. Soon Xiao Yan took Nomiko to the place where the sports equipment was stored. Nomiko stared at the locked warehouse in a daze. Then, she seemed to have thought of something bad and her cheeks turned red. "Well, should we open the door?" "There won't be," Nomiko said hesitantly. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.